Yeah, it's live.
Okay.
What's up, subscribers and fans of the PlayStation Vortex Podcast? This is your host, Dr. Shivara, bringing the shit right down with the state of play. We're just not going to cover the state of play when it comes to the literal thing. We are going to cover the state of gaming when it comes to what is happening with the Jimbo Ryan's Sony as CEO. So, today is a special day. Allow me to welcome the man, the myth, the legend, Supanova Gaming, first time on request on multiple occasions because of his haphazard sleep patterns. So here he is in flesh, Supanova Gaming. Say hi to the chat.
What's going on?
Hi, dude. What's up? So there's a bunch of topics we'd like to discuss today, and all the fans from Sick Humor TV and King Thrash channel, whom I've been a huge fan of, along with Supanova. So here's a treat for you guys. First and foremost, let's get down to business, shall we? Directly, instead of wasting time with the bullcrap about what things are going on in our day-to-day life, which none of you guys gonna give a shit about. Let's get the housekeeping first. Here, the PlayStation Vortex podcast is divided into multiple segments. So I'll just run them down so that you guys can know. There'll be timestamps later on, so you guys can know where to watch what. So first there'll be intro, then the PlayStation news of the week, then a whole bunch of topics, then a little bit of nostalgic trip down the memory lane when it comes to myself and Supernova Gaming, as well as a bunch of guests who might drop in later on, and finally a miscellaneous personal shit no one cares about. And when it comes to topics, there's a whole bunch of shit going on. Especially this week in gaming was crazy. When it comes to Nintendo, when it comes to Sony, to be expected, right? Microsoft is like a poor. Anyways, the topics include March PlayStation Plus speculation, which might drop anytime today or tomorrow because this is the last week of February. Next, Returnal new trailer impressions, followed by State of Play podcast highlight, which is the State of Play going live in 26 hours from now. Then we're going to talk about the PlayStation 5 AAA slate of games coming to PC with the one and only Jim Ryan and the shitty ass Sony PR team. Finally, we are going to talk about the delays when it comes to Gran Turismo 7 and God of War Ragnarok, which was obvious if nobody knew about it. So, let's address the elephant in the room, shall we? Let's get introductions. So, I need introductions. I don't think Supernova Gaming requires any sort of introductions, but to my teeny tiny 907 subscribers, Supernova Gaming, 30 seconds for you. Who are you?
I'm I'm just a dude who makes videos on YouTube. That's it. Nothing special.
10 seconds. So, Noah has saved 20 seconds for you guys. That's more than sufficient of an introduction. No need to address ourselves as ponies or Xbots or PC master fucking scum race. Nobody gives a shit. We give a shit about gaming. We talk about that. Though my name of the podcast is PlayStation Vortex, we even discuss Xbox, Nintendo, as well as PC. The reason I've named it that way is because I have been a loyal PlayStation gamer. The loyalty doesn't come to the brand, sadly, for you bunch of ponies out there. The loyalty comes to the software. That's the reason for the naming. Anyways, moving on, let's get down to the PlayStation news of the week. Ho ho. We got a whole bunch of shit to cover here. So let's push minor things out of the way first. As Noah, you might have seen the PlayStation VR, the spiritual successor, VR 2, is going to come onto the PlayStation 5. It has been officially confirmed on the PlayStation blog. And just to skim down the details, if people missed it out, it's basically the next gen version of PlayStation VR designed exclusively for the PlayStation 5, which is going to support frames up to 120 to 240, because PlayStation VR on the PS4 supports 120 frames per second. Definitely, it's going to be a jump there. That's speculation from my end. But the confirmed thing is there's going to be a single cable connecting your PS5 to the PlayStation VR next gen headset. So apart from that, there is no other details as of now. No pictures. I don't want to run around YouTube sharing what do you say, fake pictures you can find on Google Images. I'm not gonna do that. So that's the reason I'm not showing it. There's no official picture of that. There was just a logo of PlayStation 5 on the official blog. And one more confirmed news is it has a dedicated controller. Finally, fucking lord, it was such a miserable experience. The PlayStation VR was an amazing device. I agree. I've been dabbling into it for at least a good 6 months to 8 months. Later on, I felt like I am a couch gaming guy. I want to sip beer. I want to have some popcorn, a little bit of Doritos, and just play games in a laid back fashion. I felt VR had so much of potential. It still does, but it was completely laid back. It was brought down by the shitty ass PlayStation Move controller, which came back in the day in the PlayStation 3 days with the PlayStation Eye. What do you have to say regarding PSVR 2 real quick, Noah?
I'm super excited for it. I really like the PlayStation VR, and it's the only downside was, the resolution of the display wasn't that great,
Yeah.
and the cords and stuff were a little bit cumbersome. But other than that, the PlayStation VR was an amazing peripheral. And I do agree about the controllers. The controllers, for people that don't know, they're from PS3 time, PS3 day,
Yeah.
when you used the PlayStation Eye, and
A bunch of
and they
dildos,
just
if you may.
yeah, they just carry those controllers over. I mean, and hey, it worked. It wasn't the greatest controller, but it did work. But because of the limitations of those motion controller wands, and the limited number of inputs and buttons on there, it meant that it was limiting what we were able to do inside the game
Absolutely.
world. So
Mm.
that's why a game like Half-Life Alex could not
Mm.
come to something like PlayStation VR. Now,
Absolutely. It's
we think
gonna.
when we talk
It's
about
not gonna run even to this day. Absolutely not.
no, but if we're looking at patents and stuff for PSVR two, hopes that we can have is that it'll have things like finger tracking. Um,
Absolutely. Yeah.
and
Mm.
we know at least it's going to have the technology that's in the DualSense. So we know it's going to have more than likely the haptic feedback that the DualSense has, and possibly adaptive triggers. And that right there really really excites me, because the DualSense, the haptics and the adaptive triggers make it it is the most immersive controller on console. So to have that technology inside the Move controllers, and to think about what a new higher resolution, higher fidelity display might look like with a better field of view and stuff, I'm really really excited about what PSVR two could be like. I just hope that it's not something that's the price of another console. Like, I don't want it to be a $400, $500 peripheral,
Yep.
which it may be, but
Uh-huh.
it is what it is. Yeah, either way, I'm very excited for it.
And before Chad gets some weird ideas with finger tracking, unzipping shit, I can agree upon PlayStation 5 can bring that goodness of they confirmed support to DualSense kind of features for the next gen controller, which is coming exclusively to the next gen PSVR. So absolutely stoked about it. I don't know how they can literally make it beyond what you can find when it comes to high end PlayStation VR tech on the PC right now. So that shit is damn expensive, don't you think, Noah? The PC rig with PSVR is like fucking thousands of dollars right now.
Yeah, and that's why PSVR quickly became the best selling VR peripheral
Yeah.
in the world, was because of how in effect cost. how little it costs compared to things like the HTC Vive and things like that at the time. Now the cost for VR has come down quite a bit. You can get an Oculus Quest for what was it, like $200-300
Yeah,
or
at least
something like
now it's
that. So
down. Yep. But
yeah,
it
so the
requires a
cost
high-end
is
PC,
going
right?
down.
At least the PC you need to invest when it comes to. You can't just plug it to a
No,
fucking
no,
small.
Oculus
Yep.
Quest is actually a standalone.
Mm-hmm.
You actually put the games on the Oculus Quest. You don't. It doesn't require a PC. That's the main thing about the Oculus Quest is A, it doesn't require a PC, and B, it's
Uh-huh.
completely cordless,
Oh, then.
wireless. It's got little cameras. It has
Mm-hmm.
camera sensors on the outside of the headset that track the motion of your head. So that's why some people were kind of disappointed to hear that PSVR 2 is going to be wired with one cord. Everyone was expecting this whole wireless headset because of things like the Oculus Quest going wireless. But the thing is, when you do that, have to run the game off of whatever the hardware of the headset is. And the headset
Oh, one sec,
hardware, there's
Noah.
no is
Our Big Daddy King Thrash Gaming is here in the chat. He says, Big Noah. What's up, man? Give
uh,
a shout out to.
hey, what's up, Thrash? What's going on, man?
He's one of the most funniest, most witty ass motherfuckers on YouTube, which literally made me jump onto the podcast scene. Himself, Sick Humor TV, you guys are legends, man, as well as Noah and even Fatal. These guys like pulling Fatal's. They know where to hit his buttons, right? So
Yeah, I
it's
like to
it's
fuck with
fun.
Fatal.
It's absolutely fun to have Thrash here. So then Noah, what I was saying is before chat goes crazy, I was talking about a dildo when I was comparing with the PlayStation Move controller, right? Before getting any crazy thoughts, the original PlayStation Move controller did not support vibration. Hmm. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, yeah. It really didn't do shit. It just had a
And
light
it
on it.
doesn't rotate. It doesn't rotate. It doesn't vibrate. Sorry. That's such a buzzkill for these fuckers who are in the chat. Anyways, so my thoughts about the PlayStation VR, the next gen, is what resolution do you actually feel is feasible when it comes to the VR on the PS5? Because the one thing which was lacking in the PS4 was the fucking resolution. Apart from games like Astrobot Rescue Mission, Blood and Truth, these high budget Sony first party games, most of the shit which we played on the PSVR and we had to juggle with a whole bunch of cables. And do you still remember the initial HDR gate there were to be? You need to buy an external peripheral just to make it compatible so that the HDR goes through the PSVR. Do you know that? When you're not using PSVR, when the signal is coming from the PS4 Pro to your 4K display, it doesn't show HDR if it passes through your rig of PlayStation VR. Did you know that, Noah?
No, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. I literally went on to Amazon and bought a teeny ass peripheral which was like a pass through. You need to plug in one more fucking HDMI cable apart from all that bullshit which comes with cable management with the PlayStation VR. You need to plug one more HDR compatible 2.0 HDMI cable from the HDR to the TV. So that was all that circus. But later on, they updated the PlayStation VR with a um, other version. If you don't remember,
Yeah,
there was one more
yeah, they
version,
had
right?
they had a
That's all that
revision of it.
issue.
Yeah, yeah, because there was a lot. There was so much bullshit with the first one. You had the breakout box and all that, all this other shit that was so cumbersome. But at the time that came out,
Yeah.
it was still one of the easiest setups. As shitty as it was still one of the easiest setups for VR. I mean, you didn't have to install fucking sensors all
Yep.
around your room and all this other bullshit that other VR peripherals had at the time. But
Mm.
yeah, looking at it now, the original PSVR, the way it was set up, it's definitely will be nice to get away from that.
Yep.
And in terms of the resolution, I don't know what to expect for resolution.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just looking up right now that the Oculus Quest runs at 1832 by
Okay.
1920 per eye.
Okay.
And I would hope for at least that, because if the PSVR 2 has a resolution less than that, I think that it's not going to be worth it. If we're because that was one of the bigger issues with
So,
PSVR, the
so
original one,
what's your
is
price
that the
point?
resolution was so
What's your
low.
kick-ass price point wherein Sony can end up winning the PlayStation VR for the next gen? So I'm looking at around $400 because I
That's what I'm thinking.
yeah, because it's high-end tech, right? With a single cable,
Yes.
that's gonna be
Yeah.
amazing. But
Yeah,
the
I'm
problem
thinking about
is,
400.
but still, one nagging problem exists. Though they supported the PSVR with a whole bunch of Sony studio developed games, and even there was a game by From Software called Deracine, if you remember. So there were a bunch of games thrown in here and there between a dead space of 3 to 4 months in between, and there was even Iron Man VR. So all this good stuff did not come like initially. We just had a whole bunch of carnival-esque games, a bunch of snooker kind of games, a bunch of sports kind of games. They wanted to make it like a Wii Sports kind of shit, but I don't think they had the tech at that time with the finger tracking and shit like that. So I think it's gonna change, hopefully.
No, I 100% do think it's going to change. It's just like any other medium. You have to treat the PSVR, uh,
Like its own
or any
console.
VR in general like exactly. It's not
Mm,
just a peripheral or an add-on. It is its own console.
yep.
Because games being made for it are being made specifically for whatever that particular VR is. It has to be made around its controls and shit. So before earlier, 100%, most of the games for PSVR were just these little interactive experiences where you didn't really do much. You just kind of looked around and cool shit happened. And it doesn't take away from how amazing the VR experience is. It's just that the games themselves are very lacking in terms of being what we would consider to be actual games. There were these
Yeah.
little interactive bullshit experiences, like you said, Iron Man VR.
Mm,
The first thing that I ever played on PSVR that to me was like a game
mm,
was in Star Wars Battlefront, I think, one or two. There was the X-wing missions,
yeah.
and there was only two of them. But that
Mm-hmm.
was the closest thing I played that was like, wow, okay, I can see where the future of this VR shit's going. And now
Yeah.
we have games like Star Wars Squadrons, and then we have games like Half-Life Alex.
Mm.
So I really do expect going forward that we're going to see more game-like games,
So you
especially
feel
as
they're gonna put
the
in more time and
developers.
effort developing games for it. Hopefully.
Right, and I think that the developers are starting to understand now how to utilize the hardware better. Whereas, like I said before, it was just these little bullshit interactive experiences. I think we're going to be getting more full-length actual games
Yeah.
uh, in PSVR 2, or in VR in general. At least that's my hope. And seeing things like Half-Life Alyx and Star Wars Squadrons gives me hope because the VR is an amazing thing. It's just the developers have to understand how to utilize it in a way to make games for us.
Yeah. Totally agree, Noah. So we are done with VR, right? We are ready for the next topic on the list. So do you wanna dive into that rabbit hole right now regarding the entire debacle of Jimbo Ryan and Sony PR, how they're managing shit, and how it matters to Sony's fanboys first, to how it matters to Sony fanboys, number one, to PC gamers, number two. So, do you want to go this route first, or shall we talk about the state of play first?
Well, we let's do that at the end because that's gonna be that's gonna be a whole other thing.
Yeah,
Let's do the state
totally
of play
agree.
first.
It's gonna gobble up the entire podcast, right? So,
Yeah,
anyways, we're gonna
that'll
address
be
that.
what's gonna get.
Yeah, but people still love listening to Sony fanboys or a bunch of gamers talking regarding that, okay, you guys gonna get that in the end or in the middle. It's gonna be a surprise. Anyways, next topic, let's gonna talk about March PlayStation Plus speculated games. So today is 24th of February. So tomorrow marks the next week because February only has 28 days, right? It's high time Sony is gonna reveal the PlayStation Plus collection of games which are gonna drop in March. So if you guys don't know, Destruction All Stars will still be there in March. So apart from Destruction All Stars, there's gonna be two more games, right? One, as things have been till now, one game is gonna be running both on PS4 and 5, and if we are lucky, we can get one more PS5 exclusive. I am finger crossing. I want them to release, which is that game where there's a chick and there's an eagle. I just forgot it. It's not coming to
Oh,
mind.
the Pathless.
The Pathless. So I feel Pathless is gonna be an amazing PlayStation Plus game. So what are your thoughts on March PS Plus games, Noah?
I have no idea what games are going to come to PS Plus in March. I don't. Usually, they kind of sometimes will release games that have something to do with upcoming games. They sometimes do that, but I don't think they have any games they could release that have any connection to upcoming games.
Yeah,
The
true.
Pathless would be a good choice for a PS Plus game because it is a more unique type game that a lot of
Or,
people probably buy.
uh huh.
Um, and I do know they just announced yesterday that everybody's going to be getting Ratchet and Clank, the 2016
Yeah,
game,
that is one more topic
for
we have.
free in
Yep.
March.
Mm. That's gonna
So,
run for how many months now? 6 months, is it? Every month you're
for
gonna
what?
get one kick-ass game from PlayStation as part of certain collection for the next 6 months. So starting in March, we are gonna get Ratchet and Clank, as well as discount on Aniplex, which is an anime subscription service. These are two things which Herman Hulst has announced on the official PlayStation blog. If you have seen it, it's gonna run for roughly around 4 to 6 months, if I'm not mistaken.
I didn't hear that much about it. I just heard that Ratchet and Clank was coming, but if they do that, that's cool.
Yeah, it's absolutely cool, right? It's like adding one more layer of icing on top of your cake, which is the PlayStation Plus collection, which has been stellar right from the launch of the PlayStation 5. I absolutely feel the quality has gone up. What do you say? Right from Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Control Ultimate Edition to Destruction All Stars to Bug Snacks, the shit's been amazing, man. Even Concrete Genie. So it's great. Whether there are a bunch of assholes who are crying because they just purchased the game which was about to launch on the PlayStation Plus. Oh, blah, blah. I want my monies back, but I played the game. We can't help it, dude.
Yeah, I mean that shit sucks. Like I remember there was a gap in gaming last year before PS5 to come out,
Yeah.
and I was just looking for something to play, and I was like, you know what? Even though I heard that Vampire wasn't that great, I was like, fuck it, let me try this Vampire game, and I bought it, and it was the game that was in PS Plus the next month for October, and I was like, son of a bitch, and the game does suck, and I was like, not only did I
Dude,
waste money on this shitty game,
I
but
didn't,
now they gave it to me for free.
no, I didn't even have the drive to download the game to even add to the instant game collection. I think I have added it to the directory. I don't remember, but I didn't have the energy even to like download and try it out, even if it was on the PlayStation Plus. But because you have bought it, you have purchased it, at least you enjoyed the game, right? At least whatever worth it is.
Uh, uh, no, I played the game for probably 3 4 hours. I just could not get into it. That game. It is Vampire is not a good game.
Absolutely. I was shocked when Don't Nod, such an amazing studios which brought like a semi visual novel style, cell shaded graphics, kind of narrative driven, choice driven kind of games with the Walking Dead, suddenly get into 3D gaming space with adventure, that to choosing vampires. You can't compete there, dude. Absolutely not. Did you see how?
Well,
Yeah, go.
no, I was gonna say it's hard to say shit like that because just because a studio hasn't done something that we before doesn't mean that they're not capable of doing it.
I wouldn't have said that, but
But
silly ass me bought the next game, which is that Twin Mirror, right? It's garbage as fuck, dude. I just bought it because I like the trailer. I like their concept of this broken relationship kind of thing. I felt it was gonna be at least 50% as good as Life is Strange, the first season, which I loved to shreds. All 5 episodes, they were amazing. But have you heard about Twin Mirror? It is like garbage as fucking game, man. I could not go through beyond 2 hours into that shit.
no, I think I've heard of it, but I've never played it. Same with, did you say Life is Strange? I've never played that either.
Oh, you have to dabble onto Life is Strange, man. Really, it actually targets a little teenage crowd more than us grown ass gamers who are in our 30s, 40s right now. But it targets more of 20s teenage bullshit. But they did it right when it comes to like it'll leaps. There are like time jumps. You can like rewind time, change your choices. Based on that, the decisions change. At least they did it. They nailed it properly when it comes to those kind of mechanics. That's the reason it was a cult classic, right? There's a huge ass following with a whole bunch of uh, artwork, fan art when it comes to Life is Strange. You might have heard about it.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I heard about the game. I heard some. Had heard some. Didn't have something to do with like the LGBT community or something.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, that's the main thing I heard about it.
But the problem is, as it goes on and on with the upcoming episode, the initial first, second, and third episodes were amazing, literally amazing. But they took a 180 when it comes to episode 4 and 5. And I'm not spoiling anything. And even if you want to play it, I'm not spoiling for you. Sorry. What I'm saying is they pushed that LGBTQT narrative too much, and in the end, it felt watered down. So playing episode 1 to 3 did not carry as much weightage when you were playing episode 4 or 5. That was the whole fucking problem with that. Apart from that, as a episode wise kind of game, they nailed it. They nailed the formula. I felt it was good. I played it on the PlayStation 3 back in the day. It released
Yeah,
on
just
every
it
single
was
console, including iOS and Android as well.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of platforms, but no, it's not something I ever played or really considered ever
Might
wanting
be.
to play. I'll probably never play it.
With our huge backlogs, I don't think you'll get a day or time to play it, man. Definitely. So, what was the topic again we were discussing now? It was March PS Plus games, right? So
Yeah, the PS Plus.
they can throw a 360 there, not even 180. They can do a 360. They can announce that shit in state of play with a 30-second commercial showing off the March PS Plus games, and first time ever Grand Theft Auto in all its glory, the GTA 5, at least the campaign side of it, can go free on PlayStation Plus for the first time ever when it comes to GTA 5. I don't think GTA 5 is not seen in any subscription service till now. Wouldn't it be good with 60 frames per second and shit like that? There are people who still love that game. That's the reason it has sold 140 million copies. I know myself and yourself won't care, but there are people who have been supporting that game since 2013 when it launched back in the day. Or they can do a little bit of a twist with Bloodborne patch, the updated one, dropping as a PS Plus. But it had already launched on PlayStation Plus, right? Last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I don't think they've ever repeated a PlayStation Plus
Mm,
release, and
yeah.
Bloodborne was already in PlayStation Plus once, I believe. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't think that'll happen. In terms of GTA, I don't know if that'll happen either. Uh, and honestly, I don't think it would be that big a deal if it wasn't PS Plus. I mean, the fucking game's been out since PS3. Honestly, at this point in
It's
time,
always a big
anybody
deal when it comes to GTA. That is
who
true.
wanted to play anybody who wanted to play GTA 5 has played GTA 5 by now.
Okay.
So yeah, but I don't know. I have no idea what games are going to come to PS Plus or what they have in mind for
Mhm.
PS Plus. All I know is that whatever they are, I'm going to add them to my library. If they're good, I'll download them, but I'll at the very least add them to my library.
There
That's all I
is
know.
Chris underscore Robbie, who has just commented on the chat, live chat right now. He says, "Aw, poor little Sony pony fanboys running a podcast, upset because their PS5 isn't even as powerful as an Xbox Series S. Uh huh. Xbox or PC is definitely the way. Everything is on PC right now. Period."
Everything is on PC. Okay.
We are gonna address this shit, right? That's what we are gonna do, Noah, right? Not now.
Yeah.
Let them wait with their bated breaths if they want, or please get the fuck out of this podcast if you don't like whatever we are saying. How can you say it's a Sony pony bullshit when we are not even concerned regarding those issues, or we are not even addressing those topics right now? We are not praising. Is that we're just a gaming podcast talking gaming bullshit. That's it. More than that, nothing. You can drop a dislike, as King Thrash says. You can drop a dislike if you don't like, and if you can do a random ass chat as well. We're gonna address you guys. You're not going anywhere. It's Chris Robbie, right? Okay, I'm gonna get back to you later on. Anyways, Noah, shall we move on from the PlayStation Plus collection? So we literally don't have any clue right now what might land. So one thing is for sure, you most of you guys might be knowing by now, if you don't own a PlayStation 5, you can definitely add the games on the PlayStation Plus collection onto your library through your PlayStation app. So that's going to be convenient. So if at all you end up buying a PlayStation 5, or if you're away from home, you can do that shit. So you got one more month for Destruction All Stars, which was a mess though, according to me. I did not like it. I
Yeah.
watched your video as well, Noah.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
tore that game to
you are
shreds. That
trying
game
hard to
is
enjoy
not
it.
a good game. Not a good game.
Absolutely. It doesn't. The basic meat and potatoes, if that is not right, it doesn't matter how much seasoning you do, it doesn't matter how much salt, pepper, chili, whatever you add, it doesn't elevate the product, right? The basic thing, the core mechanics, forget the. I felt they wanted to make something similar to Twisted Metal, but they felt it's gonna be too similar to that shit. That's the reason they came out of that violent, gory 18 plus shit, which was Twisted Metal. They made it a little cartoony with these cell shaded graphics because they wanted to go on to this bandwagon of Overwatch. Along with that, they forgot one important thing while making that fucking game. I did not play more than like 4 hours, like on two separate occasions. I could not continue playing. Main thing is there was no fucking sense of achievement at all. There was
No.
no there was no end goal. There was no like intermittent level up. You earn this skin. Level up. You earn this pose. Nothing of that sort, dude. It's a whole bunch of bullshit for nothing. And that too, they have
Yeah, there is no sense of progression. There's
absolutely.
no skill trees or skills to unlock. The
Huh?
only thing you can unlock is this bullshit currency for these color variants of your character. No unique
That
character skins,
absolutely was
nothing.
trash.
So if someone put 100 hours into that game and bought all the skins and they were wearing the last skin you could possibly
Who is
get,
there to watch
I would
them?
have I would have no idea that they were wearing a different color skin because the character looks fucking
I,
exactly the same.
absolutely.
Same thing with their car. You can't even tell the car is a different color. Everything's moving so goddamn fast. So there's no sense of like you said, of achievement or of progression or of, oh, I'm
There's no
earning
end
new
game.
shit as I'm
Yep.
going. No,
Mhm.
there's nothing. There's nothing there. The game, it sucks because the game it's made well. It's
Yeah,
polished.
I
It's
agree.
not buggy.
Mm.
But there's just nothing
The
fucking
the
there.
amount of the character roster, the character design was phenomenal, man. When you watch it on a big ass 4K display, it runs like a charm, right?
Yeah.
So much of potential
Yes.
which was lost. I think they were in a hurry to push that game. I don't know what happened, but it was a great thing that Sony did not allow that game to be sold separately for 70 or 40 or whatever the shit it is. I
Oh
don't think it's
yeah.
even worth $30 right now. I don't think.
It's not worth $30. It's a game that it should be a free to play game, basically. And then their
Yeah, not even on
microtransactions
PlayStation Plus, right?
bullshit.
That was the
Yeah,
thing I thought about it. It should be like Fortnite.
the cost of their microtransactions to buy the certain unlockables that you can't get with the in-game currency, which I already fucking hate that. I hate when there are things in games that can't be purchased with in-game currency.
Nope.
But with their microtransactions, it came out to something like $10 for
Yeah,
one skin, which is a color variant. And I was like, dude, it's fucking
absolutely
insanity.
bullshit.
So, dude, if I would have paid $70 for that game, I would have been I would have been pissed, and I would have I would have returned it.
Yeah,
I don't know, like I'm not
absolutely.
fucking.
Absolutely. And one more thing, if I were to be among the development studio, what I would have done is initially you need to entice people to get into their game, right? That is the first step wherein you can bait them into microtransactions. So that is how games like FIFA, NBA 2K, and other games like even Overwatch, many people buy loot boxes or because they don't want to like feeling of missing out kind of content, right? They put in effort while releasing this seasonal content. They could have done is they could have launched it with a battle pass for 2 months. As long as it stayed on the PlayStation Plus, the battle pass was free. You have 100 tiers to unlock a bunch of cool shit, which was not gimmicky like color swaps and shit like that. A completely, not just like a palette change. It had to be like substantial. Just imagine having 100 tiers to work with, and a game just dropped on the PlayStation Plus. It's free to play right now if you're a subscriber. Just enjoy the game. This battle pass is going to be free of cost. There's going to be no microtransactions now, but it will be addressed later on if the game ends up being a hit. That's what they should have done with the game, right? Don't you think?
Man, there's a whole bunch of shit that they should have done with the game, but that would have been a better route.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't see how these people thought that they were going to sell this game at regular price with how little there is there.
There's so much of encyclopedic knowledge you can gain just by looking at battle passes of these games which end up banking billions of dollars in a year, right? There are a whole bunch of gacha shit. There's a whole bunch of mobile games. There is a whole bunch of games like Warzone, Fortnite, even PUBG does that. They just could have browsed their like catalog and seen that battle pass, taken some inspiration from it, and done some shit. I don't know why Sony till now is not successful with a single multiplayer gaming experience. At least Xbox 360, they had Halo, which was huge when it came to like having a community of online gamers who are hooking up with their LANs or WLAN, whatever it was back in the day, wherein the internet wasn't so good, but at least they were successful in creating that ecosystem. Don't you agree Sony is drastically lacking in the multiplayer department?
Um, I wouldn't say that they're lacking. I would say, do they have a bunch of multiplayer games? No, but this is my opinion when it comes to this because people will say, "Oh, Sony needs to make multiplayer games because they don't have any," and it's
Yeah.
like, well, do they need them? I mean, there's a ton of multiplayer games out on the market that are third party. Your Call of
Mm-hmm.
Duties, Apex Legends, Rainbow Six Siege. There's a
Mm.
fuck ton of
Yeah.
multiplayer games that are out there. They're a third party, and you can play them on PlayStation. So does
Yeah,
PlayStation
I totally
themselves
agree
need
to
to
what you're
need to
saying,
make
Noah.
their own?
Yeah, but what I'm asking is, there is a benchmark when it comes to Sony's AAA first party games, when it comes to like single player story narrative driven adventures, right? I'm not asking you to compare God of War to a third party game like Red Dead Redemption 2 or GTA 5 or whatever. I don't think there is no game which is comparable to Sony's first party when it comes to single player. That's what I'm getting at. I definitely agree it's a oversaturated market when it comes to multiplayer, but I feel at least they can identify themselves with at least one kick-ass game. Killzone did not pan out, sadly. It was good. Killzone 2 was amazing on PlayStation 3 back in the day. Even the online component was quite fine. I used to play on the lobbies. I had a channel during that time where I used to live stream. But I think they can have one instead of comparing and going elsewhere when it comes to third parties, right? When it comes to quality, when it comes to like polish, they're lacking when it comes to multiplayer. I don't think, I am not saying I want that experience. What I'm saying is that is where they haven't dabbled completely. I thought Destruction All Stars gonna change it at least by a teeny tiny bit. I felt it's gonna be playable for the next couple of months. It wasn't playable beyond 4 hours, not even a couple of hours,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's what I'm getting at.
No, I understand what you're saying, and I'm just saying that for me personally, I don't care if they have multiplayer games or not, because there
Hmm.
are plenty of multiplayer games out there for me to play. Me, the type of gamer that I am now,
Mm,
at my age, the games that I care most about are those single player
absolutely.
narrative driven games. So
Me
the
too.
games that PlayStation are making are the ones that speak most to me. So whether or not they make a multiplayer game, I could care less. If they made one and it's great, awesome. I'll buy it. I'll play it. That's great. But for right now, what the games they're making are more than enough for me. And like I said, for people that want multiplayer experiences and multiplayer games, polished ones, great ones, they exist. They're out there and they're multi-platform. They can play them wherever. I don't think PlayStation necessarily needs to make a multiplayer game. Although if they did and it became something big, then great. I just me personally, it makes no difference to me,
Yeah, I
and I don't
totally
know
agree.
if them having a multiplayer game
Here.
is gonna do much for them anyway. Because at this point, their bread and butter is these single player narrative driven experiences, and that's what people are
Yeah.
buying PlayStations for, is for those types of games. So I don't know if them having a multiplayer killer app would really be that beneficial to them at this point.
I totally agree from where you're coming, Noah. I too feel the same. The reason we are sticking with PlayStation and we made the jump onto the PlayStation 5 was because of all the gaming goodness, the whole bunch of memories we had with the PlayStation 4, with those stellar, amazing AAA games. I totally agree that. So instead of wasting too much time on this topic, I think it's time to move on to the next one. So it's a small topic again, but we're gonna address it nonetheless. What do you say regarding? I think this was like to be expected, right? The Gran Turismo 7 delay, which was pushed back to 2022, and I
Mhm.
feel God of War Ragnarok is gonna be pushed to 2022. Absolutely, right now.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Horizon Forbidden West, according to Jim Ryan, is coming in late 2021. And I don't see God of War coming out before Horizon
See,
Forbidden West. And let's be real. When
yeah,
they said they were both coming out in the same year, most of us were like, "Yeah, fucking okay. One of those games is getting pushed, right?"
especially with the
So
logo, especially with the logo when it came to God of War, there was like a bait and switch they did just to pump up the fans, just to get that social media rocking, right? It was an amazing PR move. I don't like shun Sony for what they did with God of War Ragnarok, with the kind of game of the year caliber game which God of War was and is even to this day. I think they can run away with that kind of shit, right? They can run away with just showing the logo. That's what they did with the PlayStation 5. The PlayStation 5 logo reveal in the Game Developers Conference had what now? How many like retweets? So much of fan following for that. Just a logo. That's how good your experience with a brand can be to make a transition smoothly. Don't you agree when it comes to that? That's the reason I don't feel like pissed off that Sony did not show shit regarding God of War. I did not feel anything. I was like happy that at least a logo reveal was there. That means it was cooking somewhere. Let it come out medium rare. Let it not be overcooked or undercooked.
Yeah. Well, according to Moore's Law is Dead, who's been right about many things, he says that people who actually work on the game said that they actually had a demo to show us, and they were holding on to it. And then when Halo Infinite dropped and that gameplay reveal was so garbage that they were like, all right, we're not going to show God of War yet because they didn't need to. They don't have to. Like that was their big gun to go up against Halo, but Halo fucking flopped. So like we're not going to show them this now. So now they're really just spending the time to completely polish and make it look as good as they possibly can. And according to him also, and again, this is just him. I have no idea if this is true or not, but according to him, this person that was working on the game said that the game was approaching photorealism with a lot of things. So it's going to be a fucking looker when we see it. But
I think so. Let the first impression talk for itself. I don't think it requires any sort of introduction. Apart from that, we don't want a huge ass wired article talking about the game. Just show the damn gameplay running on the PlayStation 5. And one more question. This is a nice segue. This is a kicker. Do you really think they can launch God of War not in 2021, as we can assume right now? I most probably feel like it's gonna come out in March 2022 if it's to be honest, to be the earliest. Do you still think a game launching on the PlayStation 5, like the caliber of God of War Ragnarok, launching on the PlayStation 5 in March 2022, can come to the PlayStation 4 as well? Do you think it's going to be cross-gen?
Man, I don't know. I hope that it is not, because I want to start seeing these games that are really pushing the PlayStation 5, because we have games that are cross-gen and that they're using PlayStation 5 and they're using some elements, like Miles Morales was using the SSD for the load times and shit, and they were able to do ray tracing and stuff like that on the new hardware. But if Miles Morales was made exclusively for PS5, there is a lot more that could have been done.
So much
and so I'm hoping to start seeing those PS5 exclusives that are not held back by the legacy hardware. And God of War, I'm hoping, will be that game. Like when I heard that it was coming out in 2021, right away everyone was like, "Oh, it's going to be cross-gen, 100% cross-gen. Horizon's cross-gen. It's going to be cross-gen. There's not enough PS5s out to sell it just on PS5." And I agree with that. It would be hard.
Jim Ryan has to be a little bit sensible while making. I think the decision is already made, right? It's too late to like start game development now to make it only PlayStation 5. But they can scrap the PlayStation 4 version. Absolutely, they can do that. Even now, they have the option. But shall I tell you one crazy thing, Noah? Did you see the NPD results of Miles Morales? It was shocking. See, everyone is here bitching and moaning, saying that no, PlayStation cannot do that because they cannot like stop making money if they release the game on the PlayStation 4, which has 115 million install base. Miles Morales disproved that. There are 115 million PlayStation 4s and just a bunch of 4.5 million PlayStation 5s, but the PlayStation 5 ended up outselling the PlayStation 4 version of Miles Morales. Isn't it ridiculous?
It's not ridiculous, but the thing is, yes, that happened, but it
Hmm.
still sold the combined amount of the PS4 and PS5. Had it
Yeah,
been just PS5, it would only be the PS5 amount. So there's still, uh, and that's the argument. It's like all the money they would lose if
but
they
it should have
didn't
been
make a crushing
300%
game.
more than the PS5, right? Because it's on an install base with over 100 million PS4s. Why didn't it sell on the PS4? Because people are waiting to get a PS5 so that they can enjoy that game on the PS5.
Because also the people that are the big gamers on PS4 have tried or at least trying to get a PS5. Like just
Yeah,
just
that's
like
what I'm saying.
when
Yeah,
yeah when there was 100 plus install base, the PlayStation exclusives still are only going to sell 10 million copies if they're absolute bangers out of 100 million consoles.
yeah, that's true.
Because most people that buy these consoles aren't buying all these exclusives. They're buying them to play Call of Duty and Minecraft or whatever the fuck else they
Mm.
play. Uh, you know,
And they had a whole bunch of Ubisoft games, right? 3 games launching in a single quarter. That was crazy.
right. Because that's something that the Xbox guys will always say. Oh, you fucking Spider-Man didn't sell good. It only sold this many copies, and there was this many PlayStation 4s. And it's like, dude, that is any game on any console. There is no game that
Yeah,
comes out on a console that sells the total install base of that
that's true.
console. It's always a small percentage. So, um, but
when
yeah,
when giving that example, just imagine 140 million copies of GTA 5 sold across all platforms, right? But when it comes to install base, there is almost a billion people who are gamers. Why didn't it sell a
yeah,
billion? At least at least 500 million then. So install
yeah.
base is just a rough estimate. It doesn't give shit when it comes to like proper estimating what money they're gonna make. I don't know. Was there any report? How much money did Sony make selling like games like Horizon Zero Dawn and which was the other game, Death Stranding on PC? Did it sell well?
On PC, I don't know. I didn't follow that.
Hmm.
I
There
can look it.
there
I
is
can
a
look it up
guy
real quick.
Darkness Wins in the chat saying, "What time is the event? It's almost 3." So, dude, you just need to wait another day to roll out. It's not today, it's gonna be tomorrow at the same time. I think it is like 26 hours from now, 24 hours
I
from
think
now.
it's I think it's tomorrow at like 3 something in the afternoon though.
Yeah. It's gonna be 3:30 a.m. day after tomorrow for me.
Let me look it up.
It's a
I thought it
good,
was 3 in the afternoon.
to be rough, roughly another day, another 24 plus hours.
Yeah, okay. It's gonna be tomorrow at 2 p.m. Pacific time, which would be
Three. Yeah.
3 o'clock my time.
Yeah. Yeah, roughly one more day, right?
Yeah, it's tomorrow, Thursday.
Mm, okay. So, real quick, let's gonna jump into the next topic, which is the state of play. So, he was mentioning when the status play is gonna go live, right? So, we're gonna talk about it. So, we have a couple of details regarding state of play, which were published on the official PlayStation blog. They said it's gonna run for about 30 minutes, give or take, and it's gonna have 10 games, not all first party, not all third party, not all coming to the PlayStation 5 exclusively. It's gonna have 10 games which are gonna be on the PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 as well. Some of them at least, and they're not gonna do any hardware or business related topics. So what does this have to tell to you? Is this gonna be a big deal? I don't think so. What are your
I
take?
don't think
What's
so.
your take on
I
this?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't know what PlayStation is doing with State of Plays because if it's not going to be something big, then don't put it in the State of Play. You can easily release information on the fucking PS blog about this game or that game or upcoming shit. The
Yeah.
problem with the PlayStation Plus is that PlayStation fanboys hype up PlayStation Plus like it's going to have some great amazing announcement, and that's never the case. Um, and then when that doesn't happen, Xbox fanboys go crazy about it not be, about it being a nothing burger event.
Yeah.
But PlayStation at the same time has the PlayStation. They should be using it only to show us, new things or awesome things. But they keep
It's
using it to
absolutely not
show.
like a Nintendo Direct. It's like a watered down version of a Nintendo Direct. That's what I feel it to be.
y-
Sometimes
Yeah,
they make a complete show just to talk about a single game, like they did. There was a state of play just on Destruction All Stars. There was a state of play only focusing on Ghost of Tsushima back in the day. There was a state of play only focusing on The Last of Us Part 2, the gameplay mechanics, and deep dive. So now when they say state of play, it has lost its credibility as the next E3 kind of experience, right?
yeah. I just like I was saying, like when they did the gameplay mechanics of The Last of Us 2, when they were talking about Ghost of Tsushima, like those state of plays, they were smaller state of plays, but I didn't mind them. But then we have these state of plays that are even smaller than that are about absolutely nothing. That the games they're showing are not that interesting or not that grand. And it's like, well, why did I just waste 40 minutes watching that? Like, I don't care about any of the shit they just showed me. Like, I
Yeah.
think state of play should be exclusively for showing new upcoming amazing titles for PS4 and PS5. No fluff, no filler, no bullshit. And that's not always the case. So that's why when people try to hype up state of play, I'm like, why are you doing that? It may be absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Don't get fucking hyped for it.
To be honest with you, Noah, they could have easily like removed that name, right? They could have made it exclusive to an event kind of shit instead of making it like state of play. Let's talk regarding a deep dive about this upcoming game which is gonna launch next month exclusively on the PlayStation 4. Like they could have just released a video saying deep dive into Ghost of Tsushima, deep dive
Yeah, they could.
or narrative, director's commentary with gameplay mechanics on
And
The
it
Last of
would
Us
it
Part
would have
2.
it would have got just as many eyes on it. It would
Yup,
have got just as many views. Yeah, it didn't have to
absolutely.
have the title state of play.
Just to give
But
you a small example, they launched a new trailer for Returnal. Do you see that?
I haven't watched it yet, but I saw that it's there.
Yeah. So they could have done like state of play, Returnal trailer. They could have done that with that. So, but it wasn't a deep dive. That's the reason they did not say state of play. They just uploaded a video saying Returnal. Like they talk about a little bit of the story, little bit of the game loop, and how the world changes as you play. So it's a quite an interesting video. You can watch it. It's just like 1 to 1.5 minutes. I feel like less than 2 minutes, but still, it
Yeah, I was
was
gonna check
better
it out
than
after.
what we have seen about that game before.
Yeah, because we haven't really seen much from for that game except for a couple of trailers. I think the last gameplay trailer was the most we've seen about it. But
Yeah.
still, we didn't know any information about it. We just knew it was a roguelike game, and that's it.
We haven't seen the heads up display on the game. We haven't seen the HUD of the game or how the buttons work while playing. That's what we are here for, right? Raw
Yeah,
gameplay footage. That's what we want. At least extended gameplay footage over 6 minutes is fine for us without spoiling too much. I think there is nothing to spoil in that game when it comes to like just showing the roguelike kind of elements. They can do that. They have shown a bunch of clips regarding different weapon variants, different creature variants, different variants when it comes to the environments, but still it was like watered down with like they did not go in depth. That is how things are right now. Instead of showing like true gameplay, see the game is coming out in 2 months now, right? It's coming out in like 30th of April. It's 2 months from now, roughly. I think we're gonna get more shit regarding that in March, most probably. At least there's gonna be a dedicated state of play, saying state of play
yeah.
Returnal.
I would assume so. Normally, we get a state of play before a game drops
Mm,
that has information about that game.
yeah. So they are clearly mentioning there's not gonna be any hardware news. So there's not going to be any news regarding the PlayStation VR, at least even the screenshot. I think we are not going to get it. It's too early on in the R&D phase right now. That's what I feel. I think it's going to come in fall 2022 or early 2023. That's what I presume.
Right. I'm not sure when it will release. I'm hoping next year.
Uh-huh. See, saying a game a tentative release window, saying it fall 2021 is better than saying late 2021. Don't you agree when it comes to like Horizon Forbidden West? They said late 2021, not fall 2021. So I think it's, do you think it's going to be pushed back to Jan?
To January?
Yeah, January 2022. They can't do that now
No.
because they have pushed GT7 as
No.
well.
No, I think late
I think
2021
August,
means we're going to
September,
get
maybe
it. We're going to get a holiday season 2021, or probably get it,
around
November.
Christmas. That's
Yeah.
still gonna be too late, dude. It's gonna be in December, man. I think it would be good if it comes out around August or September. Though the game might not sell well as much as they need because the install base is little slim for their liking. I agree, but even if a certain guy
Oh,
buys a PlayStation 5 later on, that is
it's
gonna be the first
cross-gen,
game, right? Which they're gonna buy after getting a
but it's
PS5.
but it's cross-gen, so the sales are going to be fine.
That is true. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the sales are going to be fine. Honestly, it doesn't matter. It could be September. That game's
Yep.
going to sell. August. That game's going to sell. October, November. To pick a month in the year.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a special. It's not like with movies where you have, the summer months and the winter months where movies will sell more. It does not matter what month or day or week Horizon Forbidden West launches. It's a cross-gen game, so it's going to have the combined user bases. And whatever month, week, or day it releases, that game is going to sell like fucking gangbusters. It's just going to happen.
Yep. Absolutely. I agree on that. I think it has to be the killer app, at least to like. But the reason why we are pissed off about games like this becoming cross-gen is we were promised so much by that Mark Cerny speech, right? He literally said, with the power of the SSD, especially, let's not talk about the teraflop bullshit. We are over that. What I'm saying is, he showed a bunch of artwork or scenarios wherein the core gameplay design itself is going to transform with the next gen with the PlayStation 5. Like how you need not have these lengthy ass hallways, these long elevator rides, this huge staircases which you need to climb just so that the assets are loading in the background on the PlayStation 4. But that design element's gonna change with the PS5 because it can pull assets so damn fast. That is the reason we are pissed off, right?
Yeah, once they start developing games that are exclusively for PlayStation 5, it's going to be transformative to the way that developers are designing games because they can
We are hungry
they
for
can
that
do
shit.
shit they can do shit that was impossible before. They can do shit that could not be done on older hardware. And like it's great seeing games that look nicer and look better. I'm waiting for those experiences. There's now, oh, this is a better looking experience than last gen. I'm waiting for those experiences
Yeah.
that are, hey, this experience is impossible on
Yeah.
last gen, and
Yeah.
that's what I'm waiting for. That's why I bought a $500 next generation console is for those experiences that say, hey, this shit is impossible on the console that you used to have. And we're
Absolutely.
not getting that yet because everything is cross gen, and I don't know when we're going to get that. We're going to get our first glimpse of something like that in Ratchet and Clank because of the going in
Yeah,
between
absolutely. I
the
forgot
different
about
worlds.
Ratchet and Clank totally. Yeah.
But even Ratchet and Clank, I mean, it still visually looks pretty similar to the Ratchet and Clank that exists on
Yeah.
PS4 because of its Pixar graphics
Yeah.
type
The details might be
cartoonish
there.
art style.
Yeah. But
Oh,
still,
it
it's
definitely.
similar.
If you combine, if you look at of the 2016 Ratchet and Clank and the new one clearly looks better. But because of the cartoonish art style, they don't look very, they look
Yeah,
very
it's
similar.
not transformative, as you said.
Right. So even though they're doing this crazy, jumping between worlds, to someone who doesn't understand, they don't know that that jumping between the worlds is something that's not possible on PS4. Um, I don't know.
Absolutely.
Like I said, I'm just looking for these new experiences, and for designers to be able to free their minds and do something different that we haven't seen before
Yeah.
because of the capabilities of the new hardware. And like I said, I don't know when we're going to get that. I hope we get it sooner than
No,
later. But
why can't they do one small thing, right, to appease us as fans? They need to consider our appetite. See, if you're addressing that shit, if you're opening up a restaurant and one of your cheeseburgers is selling like hotcakes, you can innovate as much as you want when it comes to other kinds of cheeseburgers, with meat, without meat, or whatever, with sauce, without hot sauce. It doesn't matter. If we are craving for a certain type of cheeseburger, they have to at least give us an update as to what they are working on and how it might look. Though the game might be early on in the developing state, at least they can show the design elements which makes it completely apart from what we as gamers have been experiencing in the PlayStation 4, right? Why can't they fucking show a 10, fuck it, just like a 30-second clip of God of War Ragnarok running on the PlayStation 5? Though they can put a disclaimer saying early in development or alpha or pre-beta, whatever they want to say it, let them show something which says with absolute certainty that it's not gonna be on the PlayStation 4. Why can't they? And they did it part of their way with the Ratchet and Clank reveal during their event in June. I agree, but why can't they push that scenario a little further, like giving something for our appetites? They can do that, right? Little bit of a tease, nothing much.
I don't know, man. I don't know what they're doing on the business side, or what their marketing team is. How they're working, or what works best for them, or what they've decided will work best for them. I just know that if something's going to be PS5 exclusive, even if it's a game that's 2 years out from now, I would like to know, hey, this game is going to be PS5 exclusive. It won't be cross gen, because
Hmm.
hearing that it's cross gen, I'm still going to get excited. If God of War
Yeah,
Ragnarok is
that's
cross
true.
gen, I'm
Mm.
still going to be excited for it. But if I find out right now, if they came out right now and said God of War Ragnarok exclusive to PlayStation 5 will not be on PS4, my hype levels will be
Through the
incredibly
roof.
higher,
Yep.
because I know now that, bro, they're going to be pushing that shit in ways
Absolutely.
that they could not
There,
push it
there is
had it
so
been a
much they can
cross-gen
push when it
title.
comes to God of War, right? They can push so much. The sky is the limit when it comes to that game. They can make the huge ass boss battles which we used to love on the PlayStation 3, God of War 3, if you remember correctly. Even the God of War Ascension boss battles were far better than the 2018 God of War. I'm not comparing the entire gaming game and the experience as a whole. We talked about this, Nova, the other day, if you remember. What I'm saying is, it was lackluster when it comes to like color swapped demons, those huge ass dudes.
Yeah,
Uh,
they overused the trolls with the rocks
yeah,
for sure.
trolls.
Just
Yeah,
yeah. The other reason why big giant boss battles in that game though didn't really happen, I think, is because of the way they switched out combat. Because combat in God of War previously was basically it was Devil May Cry. That's why God of War
it was
existed.
like a
God
hack
of
and
War
slash game.
existed.
Mm.
Yeah, God of War existed because they wanted to prove that an American developer could make a game just as good as Devil May Cry,
Yeah,
which was
yeah.
made by a Japanese developer.
Or Bayonetta.
And
Mm.
Devil May Cry, well, Bayonetta came later, but yeah, but
Mm.
Devil May Cry, Bayonetta, all those games, Heavenly Sword, they're all those
Yeah.
hack and slash games where they
Mm.
have giant big boss
That was a
battles.
jam back then,
And
right? Mm.
yes, but because of the way the combat is now, where it is a bit slower, the camera zoomed in a little bit more on the character. I think that's why we don't see the big boss battles. Not because I don't think it's a hardware limitation. I think it's because of the change to the core
Mm.
combat of the
Yeah.
game. So I don't think that we're even going to see giant boss battles to the degree that we used to, even in the next God of War. I think we'll still see big boss battles, but not to the degree that we used to. And I think it's because the
But
combat has
do you
changed.
think they are a little scared to implement more QuickTime events because of all the backlash they got when they revealed Spider-Man for the first time? Do you remember the Puddlegate? Do you remember the
No,
QuickTime
I don't,
events? QuickTime
I
events,
don't
are you
think
cool with that or not, Noah? Real quick, my question. Are you
quick time
okay?
events, as long as they're not used for everything, are fine. Like quick time events for me is just a way to have a cutscene be a little bit more
Yeah,
interactive. You can have the
absolutely.
cutscene
You
play out
nailed
by
it.
itself,
Yeah.
or you can add some interactivity to the cutscenes. And I think adding interactivity to the cutscenes and having a bit of, you need to be on your toes, because when this fucking thing pops up, you need to be able to hit it in time to
Yep.
keep the cutscene going. Just like in Spider-Man, with that sequence with the helicopter that they showed
Mm,
in all the trailers, where you had to be there to
yeah.
web up the helicopter and to shoot the webs here and do that. It could have just been a cutscene, but
Yep.
it's more interactive when it has quick time
So it
events.
makes
Now,
it
if
better, right? It
QTEs
makes
are,
it better.
I don't know if it makes it better or worse. I think that it adds another element to it. But if the entire game is QTEs, that's where you have a problem.
Yeah,
The over reliance
might
on
be.
QTEs,
Mm.
and but I don't think that developers are scared of QTEs.
No, what
And
I'm saying
honestly, I
is,
don't.
even the developers of Rise Son of Rome, when it launched on the Xbox One, the back in the day, that game was bashed because of excessive use of QuickTime events.
Right, but the keyword there is excessive.
Yeah, that is true. So
Yeah, the keyword
I
there is
like
excessive.
it when it's used in moderation and when it doesn't like fracture you from the gaming experience or the gameplay which you are like playing. But main thing how I see that is it gives that cinematic feel, right? See, just imagine killing a bunch of demons which are like 10 feet or 8 feet tall with your combos, with your moves which you have unlocked, with your hard earned XP, with your weapon which you have upgraded. That is fine, right? While facing 100-foot tall demon, or even a like 50-foot tall demon, or a troll, it does seem out of place while using the same moves to kill it, because you're gonna smack on its leg. But when there are QuickTime events which show Kratos ripping their eyes off, jumping on them, trying to match the buttons properly, that gives that entire cinematic feel, right? That is what made God of War way beyond what a fucking Prince of Persia game was back in during that era. God of War 1, do you remember playing on a PlayStation 2? It looked unreal. Even the Hydra boss battle, man.
Yes.
Just as you mentioned the other day, ripping Helios's head off. How did it feel in your hands, man? Can you do that without QTs? Absolutely, you can't do that. It doesn't feel satisfactory just to like press a bunch of buttons, make a amazing set of combos, just whacking him on the leg or his hand or his belly, and just killing him. Is it satisfactory to you if that thing happens? If they completely get out of QTs? God of War 2018 also had a bunch of them, but it was in moderation. It was a little less compared to the previous ones. They should not be like afraid to implement them. I don't think it's gonna go anywhere. What do you say?
Again, I don't think it's a fear thing. I think it's the combat system is different, and that's why we see less of them in the new God of War. Me personally, whether they're there or not, I don't care. I just, if they're not there, cool. If they are there, just use them in moderation and don't lean on them. Don't put them fucking
Yeah.
everywhere, because that's where we have issues, where games are just QTEs everywhere, and
Hmm.
that's where we have problems. But as long as they're used in moderation and they're used at the right points, at the
That's true.
right times and in the right way, it really depends on how it's done,
But
not whether it's there or not.
but I'm gonna disagree when it comes to like them being excessive, right? It depends on the game also. If you're building an action adventure game like God of War, they shouldn't be excessive. But shall I tell you who nails it out of the park when it comes to like implementing quick time events right from the PlayStation 2 days? It's David Cage with all his narrative, cinematic action games. It's not even an action game. It's like a running movie with a bunch of quick time events, right? Right from
Right.
which is the one Fahrenheit. That was the one game which was
Yeah.
came way back
Well,
in the day. And also
Detroit Become
Heavy Rain,
Human.
Detroit. Did you have issue playing
Yeah,
Detroit
Detroit.
Become Human? The entire game was a QTE.
No, but Detroit Become Human again is a completely different type of game.
Yeah,
Detroit
that's what
Become
I'm
Human
saying.
is less of a game and is more of an interactive experience. It is more
Yeah,
of just a movie that you're playing through. And like the
absolutely.
core gameplay isn't really gameplay. It's you walking around, clicking on this, clicking on that. There really isn't any combat in a
Walking
David Cage
simulation
game.
with
You don't,
cuties.
yeah, you don't shoot anything. I mean, it's just it's all you pick. You select what the character is going to do. You don't actually do it. You walk, but then when it comes to the character doing shit, you don't actually do it. You select what the character will do.
Yeah.
So QTEs fit more in line with
You
that
nailed it
style of game.
perfectly,
So
Noah. You're not gonna do,
yes,
you're gonna select what you're gonna do. That's
right.
absolutely right what you do say.
So QTEs in a game like that used heavily is because that's the type of game that is. Um,
Or you
so yeah.
remember like mashing a button when a fucking bear jumps on you, try to like make you naked in Tomb Raider? That gets repetitive over time, right?
Again, if it's overused,
Yeah.
anything overused is going to get repetitive.
Yep.
And that's that's the hard thing for developers because us like gamers, we like to complain about shit. Gamers love to complain about shit, and they have to find ways to make gamers happy. And gamers are never happy. Fucking so that's the
Yeah,
hard thing for developers is figuring out
we
how
have
to
been
implement
spoiled.
these
We have been
things.
spoiled by
And,
Sony,
and
right?
oh
They have
yes,
a lot. They have
yes.
large shoes to fill.
I mean that's the heavy is the is the what is it? Heavy is the head that wears the crown or whatever however that statement is yeah. Whenever you have something or you have a lot of success, people are going to expect that success from you next time. They're gonna demand that success from you once you've had success, and then that's the burden on these studios is okay. Now we've done something great. We had a hit. Now our next game has to be a hit, and that's the burden on them.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a main advantage. What Sony is doing is their first party studios are so damn good they need not compete with the third parties. They are competing among themselves, right?
They can right at this point, yeah, they
Yeah.
are competing with themselves
Everyone wants to be
because
Naughty
they
Dog,
are some of the best.
Insomniac. Everyone wants to be Insomniac. Everyone wants to be Guerrilla Games. Everyone wants to be Sony Santa Monica. So that's how good they are right now. But still, with the PR bullshit, they can take it to the next level instead of muddling it with these shitty ass decisions and these shitty ass interviews. So let's not jump into that topic. So before going there, what I'd like to say is, do you really feel God of War will be the amazing tipping point wherein they can say, fuck PlayStation 4, we have supported it enough. It's already 2022, it's already March or April, whenever they're gonna release it. As we know, it's not gonna come this year, absolutely. Is it gonna be a tipping point wherein they can say, fuck PS4, we are gonna completely support PlayStation 5 from here on? Every single first party developed Sony game is gonna drop only on the PlayStation 5. If they're gonna make that loud and clear, is it gonna be a tipping point wherein people are gonna jump onto the PlayStation 5, more hardware sales just to buy God of War
I think
Ragnarok?
I think the issue here is not whether or not they're going to do that. The issue here is are there going to be PlayStation 5s available
Ah,
in
that's
stores?
true.
Because
Yeah.
and this is something I said a while ago. If there are PS5s available, easy to get, you can just go in a store and buy them. They're on the shelves. 100%, I would say that God of War Ragnarok 100% is going to be PS5 exclusive because
It's
that's
gonna
going to
be a
get people to
system
go to the
seller.
fucking store
Yeah.
and buy systems, right? But if there are no systems to buy, if you can't buy a system, now they're
Yeah.
limiting themselves to only the PS5 install base, and they can't grow that install base. That game cannot be a system
As
seller
big
when there
as it
are no
can be.
systems to sell. So
Hmm.
that's going to be the issue. It's not like it's been in the past. In the past, when these games came out, people could go out and buy the system for that game. But we're in a place now where people can't fucking even get the system.
So
So how do you release a game as a
yeah.
system seller when they
Hmm.
can't sell the systems because there's no systems to sell?
I'm asking one more question then. Do you think the lack of availability of adequate amount of transistors or silicon on chip chips from AMD supply chain to Sony made the decision for them to push Ratchet and Clank or even Horizon Forbidden West beyond what they promised initially? Because if you can see, if you have followed the interviews what Insomniac did, they clearly mentioned Ratchet and Clank as being a launch window game. June will never fucking be in the launch window, however you slice it. So, do you think because of lack of availability of the PlayStation 5, even Ratchet and Clank and GT7 and even Horizon Forbidden West has been pushed back a few months?
I mean, it's all kinds of shit. It's lack of ability of hardware. It's lack of ability of transistors. It's fucking COVID. It's so many things that are causing these games to get pushed back. I mean, it sucks and it's disappointing. But I always tell people, I'm of the mind that if a game gets delayed, it's disappointing. But I'm 100% for it because that means the game
We can
wasn't
wait.
fucking ready.
We can wait.
And I rather get a working game later than a broken game now, because the
Absolutely.
disappointment of a broken game or a disappointment of a delayed game is temporary. You're disappointed temporarily and you get the game, but the disappointment of a broken, fucked up game like Cyberpunk is forever.
No, when it
And
comes to CD Projekt Red, it's not like completely broken because we have whole bunch of patches which we are gonna release. It's not like the PS3 days. If the game goes gold, it doesn't mean shit anymore. They can take it back, again
yeah,
make it gold, make it diamond, make it put a pearl necklace on that shit. It's there is a bunch of videos wherein a wheelchair guy gets up. You have seen
yeah,
that
he
shit, right?
runs. Yeah, he runs. That game's a fucking mess. And we're how many months now later after the fucking game came out? When did that game come out?
Uh,
Cyberpunk. I forgot when the fucking game
I think
came out. Hold
it's
on.
December.
Yeah, December 10th, dude. December 10th. That's a whole fucking month. That's the beginning of the month. So you have December, January, February. It's been 3 fucking months. That game still runs like shit. And like, it
Plays
doesn't
like
matter how
shit.
much they polish it. It doesn't
Hmm.
matter how much they polish it. They can fix every bug in that game. Every bug in that game can be fixed. They can make it the best looking game with the best looking character models. It doesn't matter because the core of the game
Is
is
broken.
lacking.
Yep.
That game
The
at
cop
its
mechanic is
core
gone. It is
is a
absolutely bullshit.
generic fucking game. It is a generic game with a very nice coat of paint. That's it. You take away the cyberpunk
With nice
aesthetic and
glitter.
that game is generic as fuck. The
E-
systems are broken. The game
yeah,
just sucks. It's not the game they promised us.
absolutely.
CD
I don't
Projekt Red
think that
is
even
not
the
a
core story
god-tier
matters so
developer.
much, right? Forget the
No,
fucking
it doesn't.
branching narrative decisions you make, which can end up changing the scenarios. What I heard, what I've seen till now, if you choose the nomad or the other different paths you have to choose in the beginning of the game, it's gonna change only the intro of it, right? You can
That's
do
it. The only
everything
difference
else.
is the intro. Everything is the same. Your relationships with the characters are exactly the same. You can replay the ending multiple times to get all of the endings. So it's not like, oh, there are endings only available to the Nomad.
So,
There are endings only
so I
available
have a
to this.
question,
No.
Noah. So,
Yes.
what is the likelihood of banging a high maintenance chick in Cyberpunk if you're a nomad versus the CEO of Arasaka Industries with a multi-billion-dollar payroll. Does it make a difference?
Yeah,
You can bang the chick
no,
anyway.
but when you start off as a corpo in the very beginning, the first thing they do is fucking take all your shit. They like fucking rob you of all your shit, and you're
So you're
basically
a
a
nomad.
fucking street kid again,
Okay,
or
street
nomad.
kid.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you start off as a corpo, and then within the first hour of the game, you instantly have nothing,
That's
and
funny as
you're back
fuck.
to yeah. And then and the only main differences is if you picked male as your starting character, even though you can change the genitalia,
Dude,
if
there
you
is no
picked a
male female in
male,
that
you
game.
can have
That's
sex with
how bullcrap it is.
no. Well, you can pick male or female, and that's like
You
the
can pick the
base, and then you
genitalia.
can
You
right.
want the boobs, you can
But
pick
my
them.
point is that
But you can't pick a female.
if you pick
Yeah, go ahead.
if you pick male, you can have sex with Pan Am and some other people. If you pick female, you can have Judy because Judy's a lesbian. That's the only difference. Is
Oh
these
shit.
partners in the game,
Hmm.
and that's it. That's the only difference. Other than that, is the same fucking experience for everybody. I played as a street kid. My buddy played as a nomad. Our beginnings to the game were different. After that, everything else was the same. You get, you meet the characters in the same order. You do the same missions. They treat you the same. They don't talk to you differently. It's not like if you're a street kid, because the way the game was sold to us was if you're a street kid, you're going to have better relationships with the
Yeah.
people on the street, the gangs, and this. When you're a corporal, you're going to have better relationships with the fucking corporate people, and you're going to have different dialogue trees with them, and it's going to
Fuck.
change how you can play the game and how you experience it. It's the same fucking game no matter who you pick.
I was sick of watching those Night City Wire episodes on YouTube, hoping for some good ass shit, right? There were so many lies spewed when they launched those bi weekly Night City Wire episodes. Have you seen those? It's nothing
Yeah,
like that. The final product
no,
is garbage.
no. That they fucking said that they had made the most lifelike city in gaming history. That was their fucking words.
The life comes 5 seconds after Poppins, right?
the
It's
the, the
gonna be
characters
dead
are
in the beginning.
the NPCs are devoid of life. There's no fucking AI in that game. You pull out your gun and they all duck with the same fucking animation. They all
They
do the
look like a
same
bunch
shit.
of brain dead
The,
fuckers.
there's multiple videos of how GTA 5
Yeah, I was
is a
about to
better
bring that
of how
topic.
GTA San Andreas is a better fucking game. Like it is pathetic. It
On
is
a
fucking
PS2,
pathetic.
on a PS2,
It is fucking pathetic, man.
the AI in Rockstar games is unmatched. When it comes to the scale of the game, I'm not saying just like the small ass experience. It's such a huge world, right? Just to make
Yeah.
that happen, they nail it when it comes to like making these small interactions. Even, do you remember seeing that the balls of a horse shrink in Red Dead Redemption 2 if you're walking in
Red
an
Dead 2,
environment which
yeah.
is cold as hell? That's attention to detail, my friend. These guys are
Uh,
pushing their game by advertising. You can choose your dick. You can choose your own dick. So it's
yeah,
gonna be game of the year, right?
they hype that shit up, and it doesn't even matter. Whatever genitalia you choose for your character is irrelevant because if you chose, even if you chose the guy and then gave him a fucking pussy, he's still basically treated as a straight character, a straight man
Oh
in the
my
game.
god.
And you can have sex with Pan Am, but the lesbian Judy, even if
Yeah.
you're a dude with a pussy, Judy will not fuck you. But if you're a chick,
Fuck
even
that.
if your chick has a dick, you get to fuck Judy. You can't fuck Pan Am. So the genitalia still doesn't matter in the game because it's treated that the male is the male and the female is a female, regardless
Oh,
of their
dude, that's so
genitalia.
fucked up. I think their scale, the way they were imagining their games to be incredible, I think it was in their dreams, though. I don't think they
Bro,
brought anything to
listen,
fruition when it comes to gameplay or how it
The
looked.
Witcher, The Witcher 2 won some awards for being a good game, but gameplay wise, it was
I
not a
don't think
good
it
game.
was anything.
The Witcher 3 won all these awards for being this amazing game, and it was better than The Witcher 2, but still, The Witcher 3, to me, in my personal opinion, is not this amazing fucking best game ever fucking made. I never thought The Witcher was that great to me. But
See,
lots of people thought The Witcher was this amazing
I too
fucking
agree
game,
on
and
that.
then because of
I
one
too agree.
game decide you agree.
Yeah, I agree that whatever you're
Okay.
saying makes absolute sense. It's been
Yeah,
like,
but
yeah,
because of this one game, people started saying that CD Projekt Red is a god tier developer, and now they're
absolutely
starting to
not.
compare them to Rockstar and Naughty Dog, and it's like for one game,
He won
because they
fucking
made
game.
one game that you like, that still the gameplay is clunky as fuck, because the gameplay in The Witcher and the combat is very clunky and very repetitive. It just is. People
Yeah,
think that game is amazing because of the story and because of the lore
might be
and
because it
all
came
that
from a
shit.
book. It came from a book.
Right.
It was not
And the
created by
story,
them.
right. And the
They
story
didn't
and the
give
lore
him
and that shit
enough
is great.
royalties initially. There was a lawsuit going on. Later on, I think they have given enough for that guy who was the author of whose name I can't pronounce even to this day. Androwski something. Shit like that. I
I don't know
agree, man.
anything
Just
about
looking
that.
at that map, if you are a completionist, don't play Witcher 3. You're not gonna do that. You don't have more 48 hours in a day. We just have only so much amount of time to spare, right? Just looking at that map gives like so much of missing out kind of feel, right? Just look at the map of Witcher 3. So many question marks, so many hives, so many nests, so many like dogs and wolves roaming around. Even that will be pointed as a question mark on the map. Just looking at what that question mark
There's nothing
is.
wrong. There's nothing wrong with that for having shit on the map to do. I mean, as long as it's not like Ubisoft. Ubisoft is way worse when it comes to just cluttered shit
Yeah,
on the
true.
map. The Witcher 3 is at
Odyssey.
least just showing you where there's points of interest.
Yeah.
But it's not the map I have issues with The Witcher.
Mm.
It's the gameplay. I
The
think the
core
gameplay
combat, I
is
agree.
clunky and not fun. I don't have very much fun in the combat of
I
The
don't
Witcher.
think there
Yeah,
is
it's
much to
slow.
upgrade, right? There is no enough variety there.
No, no.
It's
All
just a
you do
bunch of
is you get
runes.
better armor, you get better
Yeah.
weapons, but the weapons for the most part look
They
the
look the
same.
same. They look the same,
Yeah,
absolutely. There are only swords in that. There are no hammers, there are no scythe, there is no
no
like
axes.
no axes.
Yeah. Like if you had different weapons, that's cool. And the weapons could still be made out of the fucking silver and shit that he needs to kill the monsters.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's just the people love that
Even the
game because of the
costumes,
lore
dude,
and
there
the
was no
story.
much variety in them. There is no adding
No,
multiple playable characters. Yeah, though you can play as Siri once in a while, but it was not like too long. The segments were short. Though the
yeah, but
lore was good, I don't agree whether the
you don't need to
story is
have
good or
different
not.
playable
There's a
characters.
huge lore behind it. That I respect.
Yeah. But the bottom line is, people thought there's lots of people that think that game is good. I'm not one of them, but there are lots of people that think that The Witcher is a great game. And if they think The Witcher is a great game, fine. But because one developer made one good game, to put them on a pedestal along the size of a
That's
developer like Rockstar and Naughty Dog, and then expect their next game to be just as good as a Rockstar or Naughty Dog, to me, never made sense. And we've seen now that CD Projekt Red is not the developer everyone thought they were. They made a great game, The Witcher 3, awesome. But when it came to their next project, we can see that everything, like I said, everything about the game is generic. You
yeah.
take the
That is the
cyberpunk
reason you
aesthetic
can't
off
play
the
it on the
game,
PlayStation 4 anymore.
it is
Sony said,
generic.
"Fuck that shit. We're gonna remove it from the PlayStation Store." Right?
No, they said fuck that shit because CD Projekt Red was like, oh, if you don't like it, go back to Sony. They'll give you
Go get the
refunds.
refunds there.
The PlayStation has a refund
That is
policy,
such a backhanded tactic,
and
though. That's so bad. That's
it's
literally unheard
bullshit.
of till now.
PlayStation's refund policy is not, oh, you didn't like the game, you get it refunded.
Yeah,
That's not their
you
refund
should not
policy.
play it, right? You can download it.
So
You can't play it.
yeah, So CD Projekt Red was telling people, "Oh, PlayStation will give you refunds," and then PlayStation was like, "No, we're not doing that." And people were like, "Oh, PlayStation's anti-consumer. They're not giving us the refunds they said we were going to get." Well, first of all, they never said you're going to get the refunds. So PlayStation was like,
Absolutely.
"All right, fine. You want refunds? Fine. Everybody gets refunded. We'll refund
Yeah,
everybody,
that was a
but get that
huge
shit
ass move from Sony,
the
man.
fuck
That's
out
a
of our
We
store.
have to
Get it
give
the fuck
kudos
out of our
there.
store."
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why it's off the store. It's off the store because CD Projekt Red was telling people, "Oh, Sony will refund your money," even though Sony's refund policies are not. "Oh, you don't like it, you get your money back."
Yeah.
So they were like, "Fine, we'll refund everybody." But now your game's not in our store, and I don't think Cyberpunk will ever be back in the
Yeah.
PlayStation store.
True. 1 second, Noah. We have to address the chat once in a while. There is Pumpkin, who is saying, as a Series X owner, I'm happy that Sony is able to get exclusives because the competition is ultimately good for the consumer, and Microsoft seems to be putting a lot of effort into console war this generation. Also, with Game Pass, there is often crossover between Xbox and PC consumers, so Xbox fans are maybe not as out in the cold as it might appear when it comes to their games being on PC. Though I would love to see games like Final Fantasy XIV and Genshin Impact hit the Xbox eventually. Yes, I know MiHoYo is Chinese, but the same principle applies here. What do you have to say to him, to Pumpkin?
About which part? Like,
He's
I'm not
saying
sure.
series as a Series X owner, he likes PlayStation to have amazing exclusives, right? And he continues to say, we don't fucking care if our games are on PC because that is how we have been like breastfed till now. But it would be amazing to get Genshin Impact and Final Fantasy XIV, which are exclusive to the PlayStation. Why the fuck are you on Series X, my dude? Why the fuck are you on Series X if you want to play Final Fantasy XIV or Genshin Impact or all those weird ass games which are coming to the PlayStation since times memorial, since the PlayStation 1 days? You can't play
I'm sure
East
it's. I'm
9.
sure it's. I'm sure it's for the other games that are there. I'm saying. I'm thinking he's saying he just wants those
Might
other
be.
games. He would like those other games to come to the Series X. I'm sure he's at the Series X because he likes the games that are there. But yeah, no, 100% competition is good
No,
for games. Like
I
I
give
want
respect to what he's
that's the
saying,
issue I
Noah.
have.
Yeah, I give
No, I was
respect to
just
what
saying
he's
that
saying, Noah. I agree that he might be having a bunch of friends there, so that he wants to play like big ass games like Call of Duty, even Valhalla, Assassin's Creed, or whatever the shit. But what point he's making here is Microsoft seems to be putting a lot of effort into console wars this generation. That's what he says, right? And now he's saying Game Pass, there is often a crossover between Xbox and PC consumers. So eventually, he ends up saying Final Fantasy XIV and Genshin Impact. He wants to play those games, right? So what I'm getting here is, if this is that is what he sees himself experiencing or enjoying the most, what is holding him back to stay on the Microsoft set of platforms? That's what is
well,
my question to him, because he says let them hit the Xbox eventually. So he's okay with the waiting game then? Are they gonna come to the Xbox Game Pass? That is his question again. So do you think Final Fantasy 14 or Genshin Impact are gonna be on Game Pass? Genshin Impact is a free to play game, forget it. Final Fantasy 14, is it gonna drop on Game Pass? He's expecting that to happen.
Final Fantasy 14 is not gonna fucking is not gonna be on Xbox unless Xbox gives them money for it to be on Xbox. And Square Enix pretty much
They said fuck you
in
long back when
they
it
they
comes to
they
14.
they, they yeah, they did in a way, and that's because Xbox gamers, for whatever reason, statistically don't buy games. I don't know why that's the reason, but statistically, when you look at the numbers, Xbox gamers don't buy games. So a game like Final Fantasy 14 is not going to sell well on Series X or Series S. And for Square Enix to go out of their way to, optimize the game and make sure that it runs well on Xbox for it to not sell there, I think they're saying it's not worth the effort.
Absolutely.
That's pretty much what Square is saying, and so I don't think it's ever going to be on
No,
Xbox because they know that
these
it's not going to
guys,
sell there.
just because they have seen a whole bunch of Yakuza games on Game Pass, Dragon Quest 11, as well as Final Fantasy 15 on Game Pass, they're just imagining these games to come back eventually to Game Pass because those games are old ass games. Though they might not be like years upon years older, but Dragon Quest 11 came 2 years back. Final Fantasy 15 came around like 4 years now, right? 4 years, 3 to 4 years now. Yakuza came so long back. That's the fucking reason, guys. You don't have Yakuza Like a Dragon on Game Pass. Can Phil Spencer release Yakuza Like a Dragon on Game Pass? He's not gonna do that.
The only new games that come to Game Pass are their first party games. New AAA games are not coming to Game Pass. You're going to have to wait years for those games to come to Game
Third
Pass
party
because,
AAA games will
because they
be.
want to make money.
Yeah, if you want to have a similar comparison, are you gonna wait for PlayStation 5 AAAs to drop on PC? It's gonna be 2 to 3 years for them to drop that. It might change, who knows? Are you gonna get into gaming into a certain console or a PC, wherever, just to get into the waiting game? Why are people comfortable getting into this waiting game when there is a platform with a certain identity? Nintendo has an identity of releasing those games, whether they are remasters, whether they charge full price for old ass games, whatever the shit they do, they have a certain audience for that, and they have a particular identity. They have this Mario, they have a bunch of platformers, they have Smash, they have kart racers, they have golf games, they have a whole bunch of family friendly bullshit. If you don't want to have titties and titty physics and shit like that, you can go to Nintendo. Even they are supporting like weird Japanese games like Senran Kagura. If you want titties, you can get that as well. But every company has an identity. Microsoft doesn't have one. They want to appease fans from all over the globe. They want to dabble into Game Pass. They want to bring indies the spotlight. They want to compete with Stadia when it comes to xCloud. They felt like they can't compete with the PlayStation 5 when it comes to like producing AAA high-end gaming experiences. That's why they end up buying shit like Bethesda with huge ass $7.5 billion. They are all over the place, don't you agree, Noah? Do they have
I
an
think they don't
identity?
have
Do
they
they
don't
have
seem
an
to have a
identity
singular
right now?
focus. If that's your question, well, no, because they haven't had any great games in a while. Their identity right now, whether Xbox dudes like it or not, is that they
Games
are
as a
the
service.
developer in third place that are all about services, and they don't have any big AAA exclusives. Um, and that could change going in the future with their new studios and shit. But we'll have to see. We don't know what's going to happen with all that shit. We know with their first party studios, the ones that they're Xbox studios, those are going to be exclusive. When it comes to the Bethesda shit, we don't know how many of those studios are going to continue to make multiplats or how many are going to make exclusives. We have no idea. So,
To,
but as it sits right now, no, they don't really have an identity.
to address
But
Pumpkin's question, I'd like to be honest and say my prediction. It might be way down the line. My prediction is if I want to play Halo, if I want to play Gears 5, do I wait for the Xbox app to launch on PlayStation 5 down the line in the next 4 to 5 years? Maybe. They can launch an Xbox app when Xbox Series X is a disaster. They can launch an Xbox app with the power of xCloud like a pen drive which you plug onto your TV, similar to what Google Stadia or Amazon Luna wants to do. I'm gonna wait. If I want to play Halo, do I want to wait for the Xbox app to launch? Or do I want to wait for Game Pass to launch on PlayStation? Does it make any sense?
don't
Is
think
it
that
gonna
shit's
happen
happening
though?
for a long ass time. If it does happen, I don't think it's going to happen for a while. But I think the Xbox would like to be on everything. If Xbox could put Game Pass on PlayStation, I'm sure that they would, because that's just additional revenue from them. But I don't think PlayStation would ever allow their shit on their console. Like I'm pretty sure that Xbox approached PlayStation with the Master Chief Collection. They're
Might
like,
be.
nope.
I think that went down behind closed doors. Might be. Who knows, right? That's the reason there were so many rumors regarding Master Chief Collection coming to other platforms. The only other platform we know is Stadia right now, apart from PC and Xbox. What else? Do you think it's gonna come on Switch? Nintendo is gonna say fuck off.
Well, that's why they're putting their shit on mobile.
Oh, that's true. So
Thanks
moving,
God they can put their shit on mobile.
yeah. Okay, moving on, Noah. We're gonna talk that heated discussion regarding that later. But before that, we're gonna just address this real quick. We're gonna move a little faster now. So here are my predictions of the Sony's State of Play, which is gonna go live in 24 hours, less than 24 hours from now. What I'm gonna see is, as they said, they're gonna show 10 games split across both PlayStation 4 and 5. No hardware announcements, right? Based on that news, what I feel is they are gonna debut the State of Play with The Last of Us Part 2 Factions gameplay. And they're gonna, at the end, tease 60 FPS, updated graphics, faster loading times, all that jazz which comes with the PlayStation 5 patch, which is gonna go live tonight. Do you see this happen?
It's possible. We haven't seen Factions. We've all been asking, like, yo, where the fuck is Factions? All I know is they better not try to sell that shit to us as a separate game. I think they're going to, though.
Factions had microtransactions, right? During the PlayStation 3 days on the original Last of Us Part 1.
I think so, but just for skins.
Yeah,
I believe.
it wasn't pushed too much.
No.
But it was a fun experience, right?
Factions was fun, yeah.
Yeah.
Factions was a fun game. So was Uncharted's multiplayer. It's fun.
I think Factions was better than Uncharted's multiplayer. I feel
It
Uncharted
was.
2 Uncharted 2 was that fucking stellar game wherein both the single player as well as the multiplayer was amazing. Do you remember that a treasure which you need to like grab hold of it and bury it in a casket? That was a gameplay mode in multiplayer on Uncharted 2. That was fun, dude.
Yeah, the multiplayer for that game was fun. No one really gives the multiplayer for that game any credit because they focus on the single player, but it had a really great multiplayer, which and the DNA of that, was the foundation that was built upon for the Factions multiplayer and then The Last of Us, which was fucking equally amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think The Last of Us, the cover mechanics as well as the gunplay was better than the Uncharted series back in the day.
I
At
felt they
least
were the same, but
it was like a
I'd have to go back and
polished version of it. Uncharted 1 was the one game which felt janky though. Uncharted 2 took it to the next level wherein it was the quality of Naughty Dog, which we would have seen. Okay, moving on. After this, I'm gonna see they're gonna show a trailer, just a 20-second teaser about 4K 60 FPS patches. As I already mentioned, The Last of Us Part 2, Horizon Zero Dawn, and Final Fantasy 7 Remake. Is it gonna happen?
again, possibly. I have no idea. If they did, that'd be cool, but I have no idea.
Can they showcase a release of a patch of a PlayStation 5 on a State of Play? They haven't done till now. So are they gonna change that? They can. They absolutely can. I think they are gonna get a good amount of viewers watching concurrent to be able to appreciate that shit. It's not gonna be as huge as Bloodborne getting a 60 FPS patch. I don't think it's gonna happen because Miyazaki, I think the way he developed the game, I think it's gonna end up breaking the game if it runs at 60 FPS. That's what I feel because it's a different experience. It's like a cinematic Dark Souls, if I may, when it comes to Bloodborne.
Right, but at the same time, Bloodborne is more of an action-oriented game versus Dark Souls. Dark Souls was all about dodging and parrying and blocking, whereas Bloodborne was more about offense than
So it
defense.
makes
So
more sense with 60 FPS.
I think so. I mean, they did it for Sekiro. Sekiro's got a 60 FPS patch.
I don't think Sekiro had a patch. I think it ran natively at 60 FPS because the PS4 version was designed with an uncapped frame rate, which limited with 30 frames, which was very much running at around 20 to 25 frames based on the Digital Foundry video. So it wasn't so stable, smooth experience on a PlayStation 4, especially the base PS4. It was quite hard, but PS5 was amazing. That's what everyone is saying regarding Sekiro. It didn't have a patch, Nova. I think it ran natively
Right,
with
right. No,
at
no,
60.
I think you're right. I think it had an uncapped frame rate, but it just
Yeah.
couldn't hit higher
Hmm.
than 30 on the legacy hardware.
Hey, that's true regarding the Last Guardian also. That had an uncapped
Yeah.
frame rate. It came with all the goodness of 60 FPS.
Right, and I
Because
think that's why Bloodborne doesn't have the patch because
yeah,
that is capped at 30.
that's the major problem there. So, do you think they can do that with when they have done it with Days Gone? I don't know whether it's an uncapped or it was initially capped at 30. Can they do that with The Last of Us Part 2
I'm sure they can.
and Horizon Zero Dawn?
Again, I'm sure they could do it with whatever games they want to if
But
they
they need
wanted
to
to.
like little change the code and they need to work on it.
I don't know. I don't know how Horizon was built. I don't know off the top of my head if
Yep.
it's capped, if a cap frame rate or not. So I couldn't tell you.
Okay. The other likely announcements which are gonna come on State of Play is Kena Bridge of Spirits now has a release date of July. Is it gonna happen?
Again, possibly. You're asking me all these things that
Yeah.
they are possible.
Mhm.
I so possibly, yeah. The answer to all these questions is always going to be possibly. It's it possible it's going to happen. Will it happen?
We don't
No
know.
fucking idea.
Same
Yeah,
thing goes with a Little Devil Inside, kick-ass indie game, as well as the cat game, which is Stray.
the stray.
These are the likely predictions which I have. Now let's talk about unlikely predictions, which are not gonna happen, but we are gonna flip the shit out if these gonna happen. This is what I want to happen, but I'm pretty damn sure it's less than 1% likely to happen. So let me start with fucking Silent Hill and Metal Gear Solid remake.
Yeah,
Quite hard,
that's
right?
like the
It's not gonna happen.
that yeah that's like a Santa Claus wish list item.
Absolutely. What about Final Fantasy 7 Part 2? A little bit of tease,
Uh,
a little bit of
no,
don't
we're not gonna see
you're
anything
not
of that
gonna
for a
see that.
while.
What about Horizon for Forbidden West? A little bit of gameplay tease.
I would love some gameplay of that, but I don't think we're getting that tomorrow. If they were showing Horizon Forbidden West gameplay tomorrow, there would be they would be hyping that shit up a little more.
I think so. What about God of War Ragnarok? I don't think it's gonna make it. We are not
No.
gonna see Final Fantasy 16. But there is one tidbit. If you have, I don't think you're into fighting games, right, Nova?
I play them. I'm not big into them, but I play them.
Yeah, me too. I've been playing the Tekken series right from the Tekken 2 on the PlayStation 1. I love the game. Back in the day, I used to play only the campaign or the arcade just to look at the amazing CG which used to roll at the end of a scenario when you complete a character. That was back in the day. Now I don't think you need to like memorize frame data. You need to memorize the core gameplay mechanics. You need to practice a lot just to be competitive. I don't think that's my cup of tea. But there, have you seen a leaked uh screenshot? Not a screenshot. The leaked box art of Street Fighter 6. Have you seen that?
No, what about it though?
There was a leaked screenshot on 4chan, or I don't remember which site. I had seen it. There was a leaked screenshot which said PS5 only at the bottom with the proper PlayStation 5 logo. It might have been photoshopped, who knows. There are like geniuses who are good at Photoshop. I don't know, but to the naked eye, if you can see that, I think Street Fighter 6 gonna be PlayStation 5 exclusive, similar to Street Fighter 5 being PlayStation 5 and PC exclusive. It
Well,
might be.
if PlayStation's helping to produce it, like with Street Fighter Five, then maybe like Street Fighter Five only got made because PlayStation helped produce it.
It,
Otherwise, it wasn't
it,
going to
it
get
was
made
so
at
damn bare
all.
bones in the beginning, right? It was
It
lacking
was, yeah,
so much shit. It was just
yeah.
like pushed out just to support it with so many seasons of character pass or characters. They had seasons upon seasons of like this battle pass kind of bullshit, wherein if you buy a season of Street Fighter 5 character pass, you're gonna get so many color palettes, a bunch of costumes, and 4 to 5 characters to be released over the period of 1 year. That's how they have been running with both Tekken 7 as well as Street Fighter 5. So likelihood, it is unlikely, but they might end up showing a little bit of tease about Street Fighter 6 might happen. And one more final thing is regarding SOCOM. There was like a cult classic franchise back in the PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3 days. SOCOM 4
Yeah,
was on PlayStation 3, right? SOCOM 4.
I think so. Yeah, SOCOM's again. So put SOCOM with Metal Gear Solid Remake and Silent Hill. That this is a rumor I've been hearing for
Hmm.
fucking years
Yeah, these
that
three
we haven't
things have
heard
been going
a
around
thing
around now.
about.
Hmm.
Yeah, so we've been hearing for years. I don't know.
Yeah, might happen or not. Okay, before getting to the main topic and wrapping up this podcast, I'd like to give a shout out to Beastie WTF in the chat. He has a bunch of uh topics he need us to discuss, but I'm gonna address one topic. He raises a concern here. See, Beastie WTF has to say, hi guys. I mean, companies like Sony and Microsoft missed people just misled people just to overhype their console. That is what he said first. Then he said, do you guys accept and support Sony if God of War Ragnarok is coming on both PS4 and PS5? So, how do you want to reply to that?
Well, yeah, I support it. I don't like it. I would prefer that God of War. We talked about this before. I would prefer that God of War be a PS5 exclusive, but I understand right now the install base of PS5 is not large. So if it's cross gen, I understand. Also, if there's no availability of PS5 consoles,
Who wants to
God
miss
of
out
War is
on that
supposed to be a
experience just because it is coming out on
God of
a
War is supposed to
PS,
be a
right?
system seller.
Yeah. Nobody wants to miss
And
out
if
on
there's no
that.
systems to buy, no, yeah, no, nobody wants to miss out on it. And if there's no PS5s to buy, the they might as well make it cross gen. Like I said, if there were PS5s available on shelves around the time that God of War
I think
Ragnarok
that's
is
the
releasing,
perfect game to jump
I
ship.
see it being exclusive. But
Mm.
if we're still having issues where you can't get your hands on a PS5, I definitely can understand it being a cross gen game. Uh, because especially because the install base of PS4 is so big. So, do I support it? I mean, kind of. I don't really like it, but I accept it because it is what it is.
Yep. Okay. Are you ready, Noah, for the biggest topic which has been making its rounds on social media, Twitter, fanboys, Xbots, PC masters come race, losing their sleep, losing their shit over a crappy ass game which was riddled with bugs, which was rated around 60s on Metacritic, the good old fucking Days Gone coming on PC as if it makes a huge difference. And to add salt to the injury, Jimbo Ryan saying, "We have prepared a slate of games which are PlayStation exclusives. We're gonna drop them on a timely manner on the PC." So, what part of this question would you like to address first? I listened to you, King Thrash, and Six opinion on his podcast yesterday. Early morning, yesterday it went out live, right? I
Yeah.
listened to your opinions, but I want your opinion if it has changed when it comes to this stance which Sony is choosing. There are definitely
No.
two ends of the coin. There is heads, there is tails. We can approach this scenario as a consumer, or as a fanboy to PlayStation, or as a PC master race fucking scum who wants to enjoy PlayStation games on PC, or a person who has no participation in no way, shape, or form, a complete Xbot who is shitting his pants and happy as hell just seeing Sony ruining their first party library, pushing it to PC. So I'm not putting words in your mouth here, Noah. I just want this to be an amazing civil discussion wherein myself, Dr. Shivera, and Supanova Gaming, we are, guys, please clip this from here on this podcast. We're gonna talk right from our asses, right from our hearts, right from the perspective of every single type of gamer right now. You can start, Noah.
Okay, I don't know what side of the coin my opinion
We,
falls
we are
on. I
we are
really don't.
gonna.
I really don't.
So what I was saying is, before you start, Noah, I'd like to cover all three sides, all two sides of the coin, or even if the coin lands straight up, not heads. Just imagine heads is Sony fanboys, tails is PC Master Race, and if the in the astronomical possibility wherein the coin stands straight somehow because of a crevice on the ground or whatever the bullshit, that is the Xbots. Though those fuckers are the ones who are like retweeting, tweeting bullshit. Like they even have a whole ass photoshopped screenshot wherein they have a screenshot where it says they have taken the crap out of that Bethesda Studios acquisition from Xbox. If you have seen on Twitter, they have photoshopped it with all the PlayStation exclusives like God of War, Uncharted, Last of Us, and said thank you for having all these games on Xbox, on PC, not even on Xbox, on PC. So we're gonna address every single one of them, starting with the PlayStation fanboys, because this is a podcast directed to them, like consumers. Let's not don't say the shit based on your personal opinion first. Myself and yourself, we are grown ass gamers. We have a little bit of IQ where it deserves these guys respect or whatever the bullshit. Who cares? We enjoy gaming, right? So before giving our own opinions, I'd like you to discuss this scenario based on what goes on with the PlayStation fanboy, what goes on with the PC Master Race, and what goes on. Why are these people capping? Why are these people are saying we are gonna abandon the shit out of Sony just because we can wait for games to land on PC? You can start, Noah. Where you'd like to start?
I don't fucking know. Like I don't care what the fanboys, PlayStation fanboys, Xbox. I don't care what any of them think or how they feel. What PC fanboys say. All I know is that listen, when it comes to Days Gone, I like Days Gone. I really like Days Gone. It was buggy a little bit. I honestly didn't experience most of the bugs that some people experienced, but I like the
Okay.
game. But me liking the game is irrelevant. Days Gone going to PC. That is a fucking 3-year-old PlayStation 4 game.
Yeah.
And because a 3-year-old PlayStation 4 game is now going to come to PC in the spring, all of a sudden that means that all of the PS5 games are going to PC like tomorrow. And that shit's not happening. It's like, congratulations, you got a 3-year-old PlayStation 4 game. The reason why this is happening is because the game is no longer selling on console. When you look
It's
at
even
the
free
statistics
if
of
you buy
games
a
selling on
PS5, right?
console,
It's even
it
free if you buy a PS5 and subscribe to PlayStation Plus. It is free on
yeah,
the
if you get
Plus collection.
if you have a PS5 and PS Plus, you get it free in the PS Plus collection. But I'm talking about when games come out, they sell, and
Will
then
lose the
after a
value over
couple months,
time.
the
Yeah.
sales drop off. And like I was saying yesterday, games going to PC, old games, is just like an HD remaster. Why do we get HD remasters of games? We get HD remasters of games so that they can sell us the same game again and make more money on that game. Well, this
Yeah.
is the same thing. The game has made the money it's going to make on PlayStation 4. It's
Yep.
not going to sell another 3 million copies on PlayStation 4. So what do? You put it on other platforms where people may buy it. This being PC. So it's going to PC, an old game. Now listen, I would prefer that no PlayStation games go to
Yeah,
PC
me
because
too.
fuck
Mm.
fuck PC. And if you're Xbox, you shouldn't want any of your games to go to PC because again, fuck PC. You wouldn't want your games on
But all
PlayStation, right?
Xbox games are coming day and date on PC, right?
Right.
These fuckers have forgotten that.
That's something that I never agreed with. And that's the other thing is that they want to act like,
Lack
oh,
of
we're gonna
identity
talk
again.
shit. We're gonna
Lack of
talk shit
identity.
about
Yep.
Days Gone going to PC. It's the end of PlayStation. If Days Gone, a 3-year-old game going to PC, is the end of PlayStation, all of Xbox's games go to PC
Fuck off,
day and
guys.
day.
Who is
So I
forcing
don't.
you to
Yeah,
buy a PlayStation at this point?
I,
Who
I
is
don't.
forcing
I
you?
don't. I don't understand it. But like I
No,
said, I don't. I don't care. It makes no difference to me.
we
I
have to
played
rise the
Days
heat
Gone.
up while speaking regarding
It's
this topic, Nova.
it's an old
Absolutely.
game.
It's
It's
going
an old game.
rampant now. See, I'm gonna come right from the Xbox point of view. You can correct me if you don't agree to what I say. First, they don't have any launch exclusives. I'm gonna address the PC Master Race. I'm not going away from them. Before that, I'm gonna address the Xbox because I've seen a bunch of Xbox tweeting a bunch of bullshit, just running around with this. Because we are a podcast, I am giving a fuck, or else I am not giving a fuck regarding what others think, what fanboys think. We are not fanboys here, right? Noah, myself, and yourself. We are just a bunch of old ass fucking armchair sweaty dudes who wants to sit around, turn on the AC, turn on the fan, switch on our huge ass TV, and plug and play the game which we like. We're just gonna plug in a disc or just buy a game on the PlayStation Store or wherever it is. Just start playing the game. We are not here to discuss hardware. We are not gonna discuss regarding the teraflops. We are not here to discuss the frame rates or how a game runs. How does it look if I pause the game in photo mode? Just go near the TV with binoculars or a fucking telescope or even a reading glasses. Zoom the game 400%. Are we gonna enjoy the game that way, Noah?
No,
We are not here to do that shit.
Stupid.
We are here to just have enjoyment. Whether experts have that enjoyment while watching Netflix, who knows? That's what they're doing right now. Most of the statistics say almost like over 60 to 70% of Xbox gamers have bought an Xbox Series X and even an S. I have a couple of friends who have Xbox. I told them to pull up their friends list on Xbox. I have even taken a screenshot which shows most of their friends are just streaming on Netflix after buying a $500 console because Microsoft didn't have a single exclusive to launch with the console. They don't have even a timed exclusive, which is a AAA quality. They have a fucking medium game which just came out, and people were capping with 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 10 out of 10. There was a review on Metacritic, you might have seen, from Windows Central or whoever the fuck it is, Xbox website. They have given a 10 out of 10 for the medium. The first sentence, as King Thrash said on his podcast, the game might not be perfect, but it was an enjoyable experience because it came on Game Pass. Is that what a journalism is nowadays? Do you think that is what reviews matter right now? These fuckers don't have games to play. That's the reason they start bashing and moaning and bitching regarding the teraflops, pushing the narratives. RDNA 1, RDNA 2. We had this whole conversation regarding RDNA that day, Noah. What do you have to say regarding this RDNA bullshit? Just gonna be real quick here. What's your take on this shit?
Well, my take on the RDNA bullshit is people are saying first of all, it's not even been confirmed. People are saying that it's not RDNA 2 because of an X-ray where they're saying that, oh, there's less silicone or less silicon
Less
rather, and
transistors.
you know, there's less of this, there's less of that, so things are missing, so it's not RDNA 2. And then my what I say is, okay, well, if it's not RDNA 2 and the PS5 is running up to par with, or in some cases better than the Series X, then what the fuck does that say about the Series X? If you're going to say that the PS5 is not RDNA 2. Also, it says RDNA 2 on the AMD website. It says PS5 is RDNA 2. PlayStation has said it's RDNA 2. If it's not, they could get fucking sued for lying.
Yeah, that's the reason they don't say that shit.
They would get sued for lying and saying that it's RDNA 2 when it's not. It's false advertisement. Why haven't they been sued for lying about it not being RDNA 2?
They never
Why hasn't
said that.
AMD
They never said
sued? Been sued for lying
Yep.
about PS5 being RDNA 2. So for people that want to say it's not RDNA 2 because some dude, some guy,
he ripped
did
up
an X-ray.
Yeah.
He did an X-ray of a fucking thing and said, "Oh, it's not
he
RDNA 2."
wasted his PS5, dude. How crazy is that shit?
And it hasn't been. No one's even confirmed that what he said is accurate.
Yeah.
People are just going off what he said. So whatever. If people want to believe it's not RDNA 2, guess what? I don't give a fuck. If it's RDNA 1, I don't give a whatever the fuck it is, I don't give a fuck. As long as they're giving me the games that I want with the quality that I expect, I as a gamer am happy. Like I always tell people, gamers play games, not specs. Teraflops don't matter. The speed of the SSDs don't matter.
See, I'm happy.
If the games are not good, it doesn't fucking matter.
See, are you not happy when you played before the launch of the PlayStation 5? Just imagine you don't have a PlayStation 4 Pro. It's a fucking 1.6 teraflop machine with GCN architecture, which can run fucking Naughty Dog game like The Last of Us Part 2. A 1.6 teraflop machine, which is not even a RDNA shit. It is a GCN architecture, which is dated as fuck, can run a game like God of War, can run a game like Uncharted 4, even game like The Last of Us Part 2. What are you guys gonna say regarding that? Do you have anything on your platform?
Naughty Dog's gonna do crazy shit with PS5.
PS5? That's what we are banking our bucks on that. Absolutely, Naughty Dogs, I feel they're not gonna rush their shit. With every single generation, have you seen this similar pattern? Have you noticed it, Noah? Every single generation, they start a game like Uncharted or whatever it is in the midway point of a generation. If you can take the PlayStation 3, for example, or PlayStation 4, for example, they release this huge ass game with so much polish, which is a number one contender for a game of a year. That kind of polished game right at the midway point of a generation. That is first point number one. Point number two, what pattern you can notice is by the very end of the generation, Last of Us Part 1 launched when PlayStation 4 was almost available, which was announced. So it launched at the very end of the life cycle of the PlayStation 3. The Last of Us Part 2 launched at the very end of the life cycle of the PlayStation 4. Don't you agree upon that? I don't want them to rush games. I am not here expecting announcements about the upcoming Naughty Dog games which are built from the ground up for the PlayStation 5 anytime soon. Are you waiting for that?
Well, I'm waiting for it. I don't know when it's going to happen. I'm not expecting it anytime soon, but I'm definitely waiting for it. I'm excited for whenever they're going to make an announcement,
Don't you think
especially
that
because we're hearing
pattern
that
makes
their next
sense?
game is
Don't
going to
you
be
think
a sci-fi.
don't you think that pattern makes sense going back 2
Well,
generations?
they make other games in between making games at the end of the generation, but they usually have a game that ends the generation of
Yeah,
the
in with the
console
bank, with the
that really pushes the hardware to its
to its
limits,
absolute limit.
uh, which they did with both Last of Us and Last of Us 2. But I mean, in between there were the Uncharted games where they built up
But
to what Last of Us would
Uncharted
be.
4 came like 3 years after PlayStation 4 came out, if I'm not mistaken.
It came out 2016, I think.
Yeah, I think so. 2016 or 2017 maybe. I think 2016.
No,
Yeah,
no, because I
2016.
think it was in the 20. Yeah, it was the 2016 Game Awards where fucking Overwatch won Game of the Year over Uncharted 4, and I was like,
Ah,
bullshit,
fuck you, bullshit.
fucking trash. Yeah, but yeah, so I'm
Uh,
pretty sure it
They
came out
they could
2016.
have won the best multiplayer game. They could have won for the best esports game. I would have absolutely agreed for that. But when it comes to game of the year, no, dude. There was something going on behind the scenes.
I think it's just because it was popular at the time.
Yeah, but popularity doesn't make a game win awards. All movies which are popular do not win Oscars, right? It is most of the games which are most of the movies which are innovative, which push the boundaries of narration, the cinematography, the way things go down when it comes to technical aspects. Those are the movies which win Oscars, right? It's never the popular movies which win Oscars. Most of the time. That's how
Yeah,
it
that's
has to
that's
be.
always the way it is.
But though there were like huge bunch of PC and Xbox gamers who were salty when The Last of Us Part 2, that was laughable, dude. Just watching the Game Awards 2020, wasn't it fun? Just Last of Us team Naughty Dog nabbing so many awards in a single night, and and even further, they won like the most amount of awards in the history of gaming, 300 to 400 awards to be precise. I don't think no other game developer or a game or a franchise has achieved that till now. I don't think so.
I think there was one other game that won that. I think The Witcher 3 has the record for the most awards. I
Mm-hmm.
think,
Okay.
but
Not sure though.
yeah, but that aside, yeah, the Naughty Dog, not the Last of Us and Last of Us 2, they both were some of the most awarded games in history.
Yeah, they are phenomenal as well. So, getting back to the topic, we are talking about RDNA. Fuck RDNA. Fuck teraflops. Uh, these shitty ass dudes, because they don't have games to play, they brought up hardware specifications and things like digital foundry and whatever the frame rates, photo mode. Why the fuck are these guys wasting time? Because I run a podcast, that's the reason I'm wasting my time addressing these issues. But why the fuck are these guys wasting their times when a console is built to play games? A console is not built to check what hardware it has, what RAM it has. It is not a PC. The only scenario wherein you have to care, wherein you have to breastfeed, wherein you have to like cultivate a habit of keeping tabs on your hardware is PC. Don't you agree? If it is not a PC, if it is a console, if it is handheld, if it is a mobile phone, do you constantly check how far I am? Am I gonna sustain this generation with this bullshit hardware? No, right? We are we are brought into a console generation because we don't want to get into the hassle of going through all this gaming hardware jargon which we did not study in our schooling, which we don't give a fuck about, which we don't completely understand. Definitely don't know what exactly is a teraflop, what exactly does this shit does to that, what is infinity architecture, what is cache scrubbers, what is like the velocity architecture, what is that has to do with that, this all this crap has to be discussed before the launch of a generation, because that is when we like speculating things. Now you have a console in your house, you have shelled out $500 or $400 or even $300 for a Series S. Just be happy playing games on that, right?
Yeah, it's like I tell these consoles are already out. They're here. They've been out since fucking November. We know the specs of the consoles. The specs are not changing.
Yeah.
Why are people focused on the fucking specs? The specs don't fucking matter. All that matters is the games. So again, I don't know, man. To me, it's they focus on the specs because they know that on paper the numbers work in their favor. On paper, the numbers for them are our numbers are higher than your numbers. Our shit is better than your shit. And
Yeah.
I keep telling people, well, I'm still waiting on the evidence that your shit is better. Like,
Is
and
better.
no one is denying that the Series X is the more powerful machine. We've been knowing this. Nobody is denying this. But when the games are running side by side, they look fucking identical. If the Series X is running at a slightly higher resolution or frame rate than the PS5, you can't really fucking notice it unless you're stopping it and zooming in on bullshit. They run pretty much identical. So,
But
okay, I
it has
concede
more
Series
texture
X
popping
is more
issues than the
powerful.
PlayStation 5 even. PlayStation 5
Uh,
does a better job at streaming in textures because of their IO throughput and their SSD. It even beats a high-end PC. If you have seen the Digital Foundry or whatever the comparison videos, when it comes to like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, there was more vegetation, there was more shit on the screen on a PlayStation 5 than a PC with high-end ultra settings. What does that tell you guys? What that tells us is we are in a console generation wherein we are invested in consoles which are more than capable of delivering amazing experiences. When you can have these kind of stellar AAA titles on the PlayStation 4, just imagine what they are gonna do with the PlayStation 5. Can you imagine the same shit with Bethesda games? Just because Microsoft owns those? Absolutely not. Everyone wants to wait for how a God of War Ragnarok looks and runs on a PS5. Everyone wants to see how the next Naughty Dog game runs on the PlayStation 5. Nobody is here to see how the next Fallout is gonna run. Are you waiting for how Fallout 5 or whatever the next game is, or Starfield for that matter, does it make such a huge leaps and bounds of a difference? Is it, Noah? Which is the most stunning kind of experience you are expecting, which can be a pipe dream of yours to see running on a PlayStation 5 right now? Built from the ground up.
oh, what's the thing I want to see
What
most?
is the
Well,
thing you
obviously
want to
God of
see? Whether
War.
it's going to happen or not, fuck it.
That's going to be everybody's who's a PlayStation fan is going to be God of War. God of War was one of the best looking games on PS4, so we're expecting big things on PS5. So that's the one that I think everybody, not even just PlayStation dudes, are looking for to see what are they going to do
Everyone,
on
right?
PS5.
Why isn't everyone looking for the next Halo more than God of War Ragnarok when the Xbox Series X is more powerful than the PS5? Does it make sense what I'm asking? Did you get my point here?
Well, I think they were,
They were
and
burnt to
then
the ground with that reveal.
right. They were, and
Craig.
then Halo Infinite was shown, and it wasn't what they were wanting. So now I think they're still waiting for the next time we see it. but I think that the expectations are not as high as they were for some. Some guys, Xbox fanboys, their expectations are always going to be high. Xbox fanboys believe that the next time we see Halo Infinite, it's going to be fucking CGI graphics. It's going to look like a movie. That's their expectations. My expectations is it's going to look better than the last time we saw it,
Absolutely.
but it's still not going to be fucking fantastic. It's not going to be the most amazing thing we've ever seen. It'll look better, but
It's
not
gonna blow.
fucking amazing.
It's not gonna blow anyone's minds. That's for sure.
That's my feeling. I hope that it looks
Yeah.
fucking amazing because I
Yeah.
want it to be an amazing
True.
game.
We
But
need
I
more
don't- I don't
competition for Jim Ryan to be not cocky enough.
I don't think that's going to be the case. though.
See, I'm not hating the fact that an old ass game, after 2 to 3 years launching on the PlayStation 4, which has gone down because a game's value goes down with time. You agree upon that? That's the reason I don't give a shit if Days Gone is coming to the PC or not. I don't give a shit even if some other PlayStation first party developed game comes to PC, until and unless it is not like God of War or a bunch of games which are like console sellers. Days Gone was never a console seller. Horizon Zero Dawn was never a console seller during its time. Don't you agree on this point? Were they console sellers?
I agree when it comes to Days Gone. I disagree wholeheartedly when it comes to Horizon. I think Horizon was 100%
A
a
console
system
seller.
seller.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay. Fine. Okay, let's go with that then. I'm not here giving shit about whether the game, which is old, like over 2 years, coming to like PC. What I am hating the most is you could have just done that, right? Being Jim Ryan, you could have just done just that. You could have announced that Days Gone is coming to PC. End of the statement. We are not gonna say anything further upon anything else. That would have done it. But instead, that fucker in his interview, Jimbo Ryan, has to say, before launching any game on the PC, which were previously AAA PlayStation exclusives, we even went through the reaction when we launched Horizon and Death Stranding. He did not mention Death Stranding, he mentioned Horizon. When we made the decision to release the game on PC, we even saw the landscape of the response which came from the PlayStation fans. Because there was no adequate adverse reaction to that, I, as the CEO of Sony, am happy to say that because the game development cost has gone high, I'm here to say that we have a whole a slate of PlayStation exclusives coming to the PC down the line. This was a mistake. Don't you agree upon this?
I don't think it was a mistake. It only
shows that
matters
cockiness.
because
Right.
I don't think it shows cockiness. I think honestly, all
When
it did
he's-
for me.
No. When
is
he's
it gave-
addressing
it-
PlayStation gamers and saying that he did not see adverse reaction, do you think anyone wants adverse reaction from their consumers being head of a certain corporation? Are you expecting your
not.
product to have an adverse reaction just to make a decision not to release something on some platform? Why do you want a consumer's decision when you are making corporate calls which are worth millions of dollars in profit when they release them on PC? If you're really giving a shit about their opinions, why the fuck you want to concentrate on that instead of just saying, okay, enjoy this, Days Gone is coming to PC, we don't have anything further to talk about further games coming to PC right now, but we are gonna keep you updated. They could have done that. He's saying like we did not see adverse reaction. That is giving these fucking PC Master Race people who are running with this crap saying, because Jim Ryan said he has a whole slate of PlayStation exclusives coming to PC down the line, they are saying even God of War might come, even Uncharted 4 might come, though 99% I'm saying it's not gonna come, right? But still there is a sliver of hope. You should not be giving some other platform a sliver of hope that your exclusive is gonna drop there if you want to sell your hardware based on the strength of your AAA products. Am I making it clear for you, Nova, here? If you get your profit from your hardware as well as software, which drives the hardware drives software sales in Sony. Sony is not like a $1 trillion company similar to Microsoft, which can think about revenue from other sources. They are software leaders when it comes to like having software on a whole bunch of platforms, including iOS, Android. You have to pay a monthly subscription to use a Microsoft Office. They are the software leaders, though they have stolen most of their ideas from multiple companies, like they have developed it from IBM, from Apple, whatever the shit. They are the software leaders. They can take chances. They can make these cocky ass statements. The reason I'm saying it is cocky is PlayStation has this core following, like me, like you, or whoever it is. I'm not bringing fanboy war here. I'm not saying I'm a fanboy. What I'm saying is being dedicated to a certain thing, seeing something attached to a certain platform. Just because you launch, just imagine Nintendo announcing, because now the AAA development is taking so much, they want to invest too much in developing the next Zelda game. They are putting so many resources into that. They have millions of dollars and so many developers they have hired for that shit. Just imagine them launching a game like Fire Emblem on the PlayStation or on the PC for that matter. Are they doing that shit? They're not doing that shit because it is attached to that fan base. That is their identity. Our identity, the only identity the PlayStation as of now has, gone are the good old days wherein we had a whole ass bunch of exclusives coming day and date from AAA studios like Square Enix, Capcom, Konami, Bandai, Namco. Namco was separate during that time. Bandai was separate. Squaresoft. All these companies, being third party, were exclusively launching their games on the PlayStation 1. Those days are gone now. Now, the reason people believe in PlayStation and Sony as a brand, you're listening, right, Nova? I'm just going on a rant here.
Yeah, I'm here.
The reason we believe a PlayStation as a brand, I'm not talking about fanboyism here. I'm talking about loyalty. I'm talking about nostalgia. I'm talking about what you attach to what. Mario is a Nintendo property. Horizon was a PlayStation property. It's no longer now. God of War, Uncharted, The Last of Us, even MLB was a PlayStation property because of some other reason it is going multi-platform. Let's not bring it into here. We have certain set of gaming pleasures or experiences which is tied to the platform. Sony as a company is still dependent on selling hardware to make profits. As of now, they're losing money selling the PlayStation 5 because of lack of stock, lack of supply from AMD and shit like that. But 2 to 3 years down the line, they're gonna make profit when they release a updated version of the PS5, wherein they can cut costs and get profit out of hardware. But forget that. Even if they're losing shit selling the hardware of the PS5, it was one of the most searched consoles on Google. PlayStation 5 videos on YouTube, if you can see, there are a whole bunch of videos wherein it says, I surprised my girlfriend with the PlayStation 5. Here's his reaction. And that dude cries with man tears on camera, and that video gets like 20, 30 million views. It never happens with the Xbox Series X. That is how desirable a PlayStation 5 is right now. Because of their ecosystem. Because of what the PlayStation 4 has achieved during its life cycle. Because of what Sony as a brand did with their first party studios. Everyone wants to have that jelly bean cake or donut which is only available on the PlayStation 5 hardware. You are as ahead of PlayStation 5. That is your saving grace. PlayStation 5 is completely reliant on their first parties. They are making more money on third parties than Xbox, but whatever is selling their hardware is not the third party games, and it will never be. Always it is the first party games, and it is the exclusives. That is the reason I bring about this topic when it comes to exclusivity. The only reason why a product on a certain console is such high quality, amazing experience is because that company took risks. It did not cut corners like Cyberpunk. It did not push the game when it is not ready. It was ready to invest in creating their own mocap studios, their own first party developers, which completely understand how the architecture works. They work tirelessly over the period of 3 to 5 years just to build a single game. Voice acting, narration, artwork, direction, so much will be put into a game to make it to be as good as the next God of War or The Last of Us Part 2. These are the laurels which PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 has. This is a generation wherein they can't have any fuck ups. They had their fuck ups during the PlayStation 3 era with that weird ass pricing of $600 for a 20 gigabyte PlayStation 3 with their whole cell architecture and shit like that. That shit's gonna not fly right now because there are so many competitors out there. They're gonna grab your throat and run away. I agree logically, whatever this is happening, it doesn't make sense for you or me. But when you think about it as a whole, being the CEO of PlayStation, sitting your cozy ass on the laurels of what was achieved on the PlayStation 5, you should not be there promising dudes on other marketplaces like the PC that don't worry, Horizon came out, Death Stranding came out, now Days Gone is gonna come out. Don't worry, the story is not gonna end there. We still have a slew or a slate of games which are exclusive to PlayStation coming to PC. Why the fuck do you want to say that when you are doing so well in the coming this generation? How does it achieve any sort of traction when it comes to pulling customers into your ecosystem? So what are you saying? You want to make a bunch of 4 to 5. You want to sell 4 to 5 million copies, not even 4 to 5, 1 to 2 million copies of Days Gone on PC, and reap the rewards of the software sales. Is that gonna be okay for you? Or you're gonna say, if you want to enjoy this shit, come to our family. Come buy a PS5 and be in our ecosystem so that you can buy a whole bunch of software, pre-order shit, buy all our $70 shit. We are confident all the games will be worth $70 because we are the technical leaders, we are the market leaders when it comes to delivering kick-ass AAA experiences. This is what he has to say, right? Why the fuck he wants to give the false promise of muddling the mindset of these whole ass fuckers who are running away saying, don't worry, guys, every single game on the PlayStation is gonna come out on the PC. It's just a matter of time. Just give me an example, Noah. He said a slate of games which are AAA exclusives on PlayStation are gonna come to PC. What other game do you think he means by that sentence? Can you give me
I
an
don't know,
example?
but I don't know, but there's tons of games that are PlayStation exclusives
I'm
that
talking about first party
fucking
here. Just give me an example.
they don't have to be first party. He didn't say first party. He said PlayStation. They could get the order 1886 for all we fucking know. We have no idea what games are going to PC.
He said PlayStation exclusive games are gonna come to PC eventually. It
Right,
was like, yeah.
and those could be PS4 games. Like the PS5 games aren't going to go
No,
there anytime soon. They're
but
not going day and date.
see, this might feel a little bit fanboyish to me. I am not gonna be happy seeing games like God of War and Uncharted or even The Last of Us being released on PC, even if it is 10 years down the line.
Neither am I. Neither am I. I don't want any
I don't want to
PlayStation
see
games on PC.
these people releasing mods on Kratos. It was already fucked up on Fortnite. When I saw Kratos on Fortnite, it was like
Yes.
nauseating.
But listen, I don't want PlayStation games on PC either. But if God of War goes to PC, and God of War probably will go to PC eventually, just like all the other PlayStation
It shouldn't,
hits
right?
will go.
Then what defines your
but
console
listen,
at that point? What defines your console? If you're running your business just to make fucking money, just dissolve your console. Just release everything on PC, everything on Xbox. Release everything on even Nintendo Switch. What is stopping them? The
right
reason
now, how much money are they making right now? How many copies of God of War are selling right now?
it's
God of War
not about
20.
just money. It's not just about money, Noah. What I'm saying is, you have to have this identity, right? I agree.
But they still have the identity. The identity is still there
But
because God
why
of
are they
War is
muddling
still.
it? Why are they making it less obvious to the
I don't think
consumers?
that they are. I don't
Going
think.
into the new console
Listen,
generation, do you want someone
if
pushing games,
God of War,
giving false promises?
If God of War 2018 went to PC, God of War would still always be linked to PlayStation. Doesn't matter that God of War 2018 is on PC. It doesn't fucking matter. Who gives a shit? Like, yes, it sucks that God of War would be on PC. It sucks that PlayStation games are going to PC.
No.
I don't want to see that either.
No,
But
what
at
I'm
the
saying
end of
is,
the day,
I don't
it
want
doesn't matter.
I don't want to see a single marketplace for everything. If you want to buy a Mario game, you need to buy a Nintendo console, Nintendo
And listen,
handheld.
if we are in the next generation of consoles, we're now on PS5.
Yeah,
So if PlayStation 4 games are releasing the PC while we're in PS5, how does that affect the
okay,
PS5?
okay.
As
Let me
long as
give you a
PS
scenario, Noah.
as long as PS5
Okay,
games don't go,
who
who gives
knows
a
that
shit?
shit? Who knows that?
Goes?
I am not Jim Ryan. You're not Jim Ryan. What if he launches Destruction All Stars? What if he ends up launching Demon Souls on PC? It's a PlayStation 5 exclusive. Do you accept that?
No.
That is what I'm saying. We shouldn't accept that.
Listen,
And that
we
fucker
are,
is saying we did not
we are
face
talking
adverse
about
reaction. What
hypotheticals. We're
adverse
talking
reaction does he needs
hypotheticals.
to face?
Listen, we're talking about fucking hypotheticals. As long as
Yeah.
we are in the PS5 generation, if old PS4 games start going to PC while I'm on PS5 playing PS5 games, it has nothing to do. I don't give a shit.
But Horizon came during the PlayStation 4 life cycle. It did not come when you are playing on your fucking PlayStation 5, right? They did not launch Horizon Zero Dawn on the PC when they are on the PlayStation 5 generation. They launched Horizon Zero Dawn when we were still in the PlayStation 4 Pro or PlayStation 4 generation, right? If it ends up making profit to them, they're gonna continue doing that shit. What I'm saying is, I am not salty. I might be a little bit, but it doesn't change my experience. Even if just imagine, even if God of War Ragnarok came out on PC, if I am having a $500 PlayStation 5 which runs the game pretty damn well, I am not gonna give a fuck, right? But still, it's
Listen, if God of War Ragnarok didn't come out on PlayStation, let's say it wasn't even a PlayStation game anymore, and it came out on PC, are you going to go out and buy a PC?
absolutely not.
Okay, neither am I. Console gamers aren't going to go buy PCs.
Absolutely, that is the point. No,
are on PC. The console game, PlayStation games going to PC is just simply for the PC players who don't give a shit about consoles. Just like the console gamers don't give a shit about PC. It's not going to affect PlayStation at all. It's just going to be extra money from. I still don't like it. I don't like the idea of the PlayStation.
I agree
games
that point, but
anywhere.
why make a point of saying of enticing the PC crowd? There is no point enticing them and
Listen,
saying there are
fuck,
more games coming.
fuck
What
that.
what does it
Let
achieve?
listen,
What does it achieve?
let them fucking sit there and laugh and think they're getting all these PlayStation games fucking on PC tomorrow. Let them laugh. I don't give a shit because you know what? When I'm playing God of War Ragnarok, I'm gonna say okay, you'll get this game maybe you'll get it eventually
Fuck you. If
someday
you want to
maybe,
play,
but
come here.
I am
Yep.
playing now. Yeah, so I don't give a fuck what Jim Ryan does. I don't give a fuck what PC guys think. I don't give a fuck what Xbox guys think. I don't give a fuck what these people think. I'm playing the games I want to play, and I'm playing them now. Maybe you'll get to play them later, but you're gonna have to fucking wait.
This
I don't
is
give a fuck. If they want to wait, they can wait. I don't give a fuck.
no. This is the point I'm gonna end this conversation with. I totally agree with you, Noah. Anyone with 100 grams of a brain who has invested into a platform not gonna jump ship because their shit is gonna go somewhere else. They are not saying the games are not coming on the PlayStation 5 or even the PlayStation 5 games are coming on the PC, but these people have this pipe dream of thinking it might end up. What I'm saying is, we are not losing a new set of people coming onto the PlayStation 4 hardware, PlayStation 5 hardware. That's not I'm getting you at. PlayStation 5 is the most desirable console right now because there is no fucking PC on earth which can achieve what a PlayStation 5 can achieve at $500. Absolutely right. Don't you agree with this point? Can you build a gaming PC at $500 with the horsepower, with the specifications of a PS5, with that amazing SSD, and imagine having all these amazing games on that, on top of that? I don't think you can even build a PC at $500 with all this shit going on, with how amazing even the Blu-ray disc, which plays movies on the PlayStation 5, is far superior to the Xbox Series X Blu-ray disc drive. You're not gonna do that. You're gonna be shelling out like over $1,500, $2,000. Even if you have the money in the world, and even if you can like afford it, you're not guaranteed on these experiences. Correct. This is the point we are making here. To be precise, you're not guaranteed anything. You're just like teased. I feel Days Gone 2 is gonna be announced sometime soon. That might be a reason.
They just did. They just did.
Yeah, that is the reason why they are doing this, because we have no information on what Studio Bend is currently working on. Right? They are working on something since over 2 to 3 years. They're gonna announce it. Hell, it's gonna be
No,
so much
they
salt everywhere if they're gonna announce Days Gone 2 with a little bit of gameplay which looks unreal running on the PlayStation 5, which is exclusive to the
they
PlayStation
announced
5.
Days Gone 2 yesterday. He already said they're working on it yesterday. We know it's coming.
Yeah, I know that, but after making this announcement of Days Gone 1 going to PC, doesn't it like press their buttons in the wrong way? Or doesn't it feels like they're teasing?
I,
What I understand is PlayStation is teasing, right? Just giving Horizon Zero Dawn, Death Stranding with their amazing Decima engine on the PC. Those guys are experiencing this for the first time. They made some money on software sales on PC. There are a whole bunch of scums out there on PC Master Race who pirate games, who don't even buy games legally. Second, they're gonna do a bunch of mods. They're gonna change those games. They're gonna make them unplayable if it is a multiplayer game. That's the reason I did not support the idea of PlayStation 4 games when they started supporting crossplay to other consoles. I don't want to fucking play against PC people who are using a whole bunch of cheats, right? Do you think it's a level playing field when it comes to like PlayStation 4 versus a PC player playing Call of Duty?
No,
That's
of
the
course
reason I
not. PC
disable
players
that shit.
are you even without the cheats? PC players get to use a mouse and keyboard, which is superior to playing with a controller when it comes to
Absolutely.
first-person shooters.
That's the first option I disabled on my Call of Duty Modern Warfare last year. There was an option to disable crossplay. I did that. So what I'm getting is, I understand the whole concept of teasing the other crowd, making a little bit of moolah, a little bit of money on software sales on PC, and showing off their laurels. It's like a feather on their cap. I agree. But why tease them saying there are more games coming out? There is no point in doing that. Why do you want to what do you want to achieve by telling? Ah,
Who cares? They're teasing them. They're not teasing me.
no,
I don't give a
what does
fuck
it
if they tease
achieve?
them.
Are they gonna pre-order Days Gone
I
more because
I
there are
don't
more
know.
games coming
I
out? Are they gonna support it?
they listen. They're a business. They're in the business of making money. They must see some benefit to releasing the games on PC. Whatever the reason is, we don't know. We're not in the boardrooms when they make these decisions. All
Yeah,
I know is that I
totally
don't
agree.
fucking care. I don't care. As long as I'm still getting my games, I'm happy. Do I want my games going to PC? No. If they start releasing games on PC day and date, it's gonna really, really piss me off. Am I gonna stop
Absolutely.
buying my Am I gonna stop buying the games? No. Am I
No.
gonna throw my PlayStation in the trash? No. Am I
No.
gonna go buy PC? Fuck no. I don't care. I want the
Absolutely.
games as long as they're giving me the games that I want with the quality I expect. I am content. I don't want them going to PC, and I hope that they never go day and date. But I have no control over these things.
No,
We have no control
there
over
was
these
a PC
things.
Master Race guy on King Thrash podcast. You were also having a heated discussion regarding this, right? What was that topic exactly? What point did he bring up while defending the PC when it comes to like?
He made no points. Both the PC dudes in that
And that
podcast yesterday
fucker can play only at
were fucking
1440p,
assholes.
right? Not even
The first
4K.
thing he said was, if PlayStation 5 is a next gen console, why can't it play games at native 4K? Even though it does play games at native 4K,
PC doesn't play native
they're
4K.
idiots. He said that God of War is not as good as he said Rust is better than God of War. He said the God of War is just a game where you press circle the entire time, even though the controls for fighting the combat is mapped to the shoulder buttons. He's clearly someone that's never played the fucking game. Both those PC guys were assholes that didn't know shit. They were just PC Master Race guys. They don't even fucking play games. One of them only has fucking 20 games in his Steam account and has only put 9 hours in games in the last week. I put over 9 hours into fucking Neo 2 yesterday.
Oh shit.
Those PC guys were jokes.
I had a weird cough. Can you continue? I'll just get back to you.
Well, that was it. That's really all I had to say about that. Those PC guys are assholes. They made 0 points. But again, but on the whole topic of the games going to PC, I don't fucking care. I can't control what the company does. If the company wants to put all the games on PC day and date, I will fucking hate that. I have no control over that. But I'm still going to buy the games as long as they're up to the quality that I expect.
Absolutely.
And I'm still going to buy
This
the
is a
consoles because
point
that's
which
where I want to play the game.
See, Noah, what point you made across, it's a compelling argument to win an argument against anything. See, I have spent a certain amount of dollars buying a PlayStation 5. I'm in this ecosystem. You have to be so good at something, launching so many kick-ass games to pull me into something else which is not on PS5. Correct? Until and unless Sony shows their A game when it comes to delivering content on a product which is sitting in my entertainment center right now, hooked to a big ass TV. If it is sitting right there, and if I have an option to buy a game which shows quality as you just said, and which gives me enjoyment, do I really care where else it is going? I'm gonna be pissed off, absolutely. But if there's an option to buy the game, just download it and enjoy it, I'm gonna do that. If it is coming to the PC, let them enjoy as well. I'm gonna be pissed off I'm just reiterating whatever you said right now, Noah, because that is the best way we need to approach shit right now. We are consumers here. We are not like spokesperson. We are not PR guys. We are not representing any single brand or company. We are not taking these pieces of plastic more than what they're able to do. If a PlayStation 5 does what it says it does, and it keeps on improving the quality over the period of next 2 to 3 years, showing tons of games, AAA upon AAA, and even like the initiative saying the quadruple A, I'll be happy playing that experience on my couch on my TV. Is there any debate over this? Why is there debate over what I enjoy, on what platform I enjoy? Where else is that shit landing? Correct. Does it make sense what I'm saying?
Like I said, it doesn't matter.
The only point is, what I wanted to bring up was, this is the very start of a new generation of consoles. PlayStation 5 just launched in November. Just keep the PR, your interviews away from bringing the only thing which is the most desirable on gaming right now is the PlayStation exclusives. Be very careful when it comes to addressing that topic and seeing that those experiences can be had elsewhere, especially in the initial 1 to 2 years of your console generation. That's what I was pissed off about Jim Ryan. I'm not saying I don't want to support a game like God of War. I am not saying I'm not going to stop playing games on PS5 if it starts going to some other platform like even Xbox or even the PC. It doesn't matter. What I'm saying is, as a console head or as a studio head, your initial reaction or your initial point of where you need to address your crowd is first understand and address your consumers, your fans, who are the reason why it has grown to as much as it is right now. You cannot like neglect that 115 million install base on the PlayStation 4 who are loyal to you. What I'm saying is, just put the words in some other way which doesn't give hope to someone else, so that even if they were in a decision to make to jump over to PlayStation, who are just want to wait, because Xbox gamers want to wait gaming games coming to Xbox Game Pass, don't make that scenario happen on PC as well. PC, those are bunch of clowns who have their own set of values, who enjoy specs more than games. It's been like that since so long. I had a whole old ass PC during like 20 years ago, 15, 20 years ago, wherein the RAM was 215, 256 MB RAM during that time. I used to brag about it during my school days. Dude, my PC has 256 RAM, you know that? Everyone had like 128 MB RAM during that time. I upgraded to 512 MB RAM. Later on, I saw things were going in gigabytes. There were graphics cards which were upgraded every single year. As a school kid, you cannot push your parents to like update your PC, right? That's the reason I had to switch over to consoles. The main advantage consoles have over PC, I am addressing all the PlayStation PC master race right now. The only advantage a console has is we don't need to give a shit about what is under the box, inside the box. We just need to give a shit about whether a game looks good. Is it worth 60 or $70? Am I gonna enjoy it? That's it. Isn't it too simple and easy to enjoy games on a console compared to a PC, Nova?
I think it's more convenient, yeah, but I don't know if they obviously feel different. I think that's the point. The reason why I prefer console, the convenience of playing on console. Like
Yeah, the
I could play
convenience.
on PC if I wanted to. I could buy a PC if I wanted to. I don't because I don't care. I like the convenience of playing on console. I like not having to go and fuck with settings for every single game. I just put the
Oh
game
shit.
in and
Yeah.
play it. So
Oh,
but
do you do
they like that bullshit. I don't. So
Noah, I'll
different
just
strokes for different folks.
shall I just make your buying decision too complicated when it comes to PC? If you say just now, just imagine you are telling me, dude, I don't give a fuck about what Sony is doing or play Microsoft is doing. I want to enjoy the gaming the best. I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna invest in a PC. I have the money. I have even saved up $2,000 just to buy a high-end gaming PC, even $2,500. Get a high-end PC. I'm gonna buy even the latest in when it comes to Nvidia. I'm gonna invest in the 3090. Okay, I'm gonna make your life hard for you. Okay, I'm gonna give you a scenario wherein you have bought a PC shelling out $2,500. Just imagine, Noah, just be in their shoes for a moment. I'm gonna make your life miserable. So I'm gonna tell you tomorrow, I'm gonna show this amazing gameplay running of God of War Ragnarok or The Last of Us Part 3. Just imagine it is exclusive to the PC, or whether just imagine it coming day and date on PC along with the PS5. You have a PC, right? You need not worry. But the problem is, do you want to run the game at 1440p, or do you want to run the game at 1080p with full ray tracing on it? Ray tracing with shadow detail, with the lighting, the effects. Do you want to turn down the vegetation a little bit, or do you want to run vegetation at ultra settings? Okay, the next question is, do you want to like increase the reflections? Do you want to run reflections at ultra, medium, low, or even high? Okay, you have bought Cyberpunk 2077, right? Even high end PCs can't run every single checkbox at ultra settings, even the 3090. So, after buying a game, after seeing how good the game looks, you need to be messing around a whole bunch of shit before starting the game, before pushing that start button. Do you know what a PC gamer does? He goes to the options. He goes to the HDR settings. He goes to the, okay, do I need to increase the field of view to 140 degrees or 120 degrees? 110 degrees is good, I think, because it is like a third person game. I don't think I require all the way to 140 degrees field of view FOV slider. Okay, I'm gonna turn off the motion blur, because motion blur, when there is too much shit on the screen, it's gonna slow down my PC. I don't think it's gonna look good. Okay, let me put the motion blur at low. Let me put the ray tracing all the way ultra. Okay, let me put shadow detail at high. Let me put global illumination at low, so that I can increase the reflections to ultra. Do you enjoy this?
No, that's why I'm not on PC.
Hope you got my sarcasm there with that whole
Mhm.
explanation. That's what PC gamers like doing, right? That's the reason they bring up all this nonsense when it comes to comparisons, zooming things to 4K, four times, 400%, looking at different details, the vegetation, the grass, how many NPCs to allow, instead of allowing the developers like Insomniac. It made it pretty damn clear. Do you want to run the game at native 4K in quality mode with ray tracing, or do you want performance mode at checkerboarded 4K with no ray tracing, or as a cherry on top or an icing on your cake, we're going to release a performance ray tracing mode wherein you can enjoy the game at upscaled resolution, little bit lesser in PCs, but with ray tracing. I don't want consoles to go down that route wherein we need to make decisions on a finished product. Correct? You should not be racking your brain. Oh, dude, should I enjoy this at 60 FPS with RT or with checkerboarding, without checkerboarding, with native 4K? Already, console gaming is slightly moving towards the direction with the PlayStation 5, right? It is slightly, not much. We don't still give a shit about that. We just choose 60 FPS if there is an option to check performance. But do you think the PlayStation 5 Pro, a mid mid-gen refresh, or a PlayStation 6 will have the slew of options available on a PC so that you have to spend 20 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour, even multiple playthroughs experiencing the same completed product of a game just by changing sliders? Do you want to change sliders on a PlayStation game? The performance, the ray tracing, all this shit, man. Do you really like it? Just
It's
having a
not.
little
It's not
glimpse
for
of
me,
it
man.
is giving me a hard time to decide. We don't want that shit on consoles. We just want to plug in a game and enjoy. Though it's a novelty to choose. But what if the PlayStation 6 or the PlayStation 5 mid-gen refresh, which might happen 4 years down the line, if it gives you this fine granular detail to choose all these options, do you still like compromising some amount of shit to achieve some amount of ultra setting somewhere else? Do you like that, man? The path which is going on right now.
Like I said, I don't. I don't care about that shit. That's why I don't game on PC.
That's the reason I gave you a second part of the question, Nova. The second part of the question was, what if all these fine granular details came with the next gen consoles or even a mid gen refresh of the PS5? Because those consoles will have higher horsepower, but they will never be able to like have everything turned up to ultra all the time. So you still need to make all these weird ass decisions. I really don't want that direction to be taken by any of them. I just want a single mode. At least performance versus quality is fine. But if you have like six different modes, or if you allow me to choose sliders to select field of view, ray tracing, performance, what do you say, resolution versus frame rate locked or uncapped frame rate, so many shit to think about. Just imagine this happening on the next God of War game, next God of War game on a PlayStation 6. Do you want to like that? Do you want console gamers to talk about this sliders bullshit wherein you need to like choose before starting an experience?
Of course not. That's what we've been getting at.
It's scary, right?
I don't think we're gonna. I mean, the most we're gonna have in consoles, they'll give us the option between performance and resolution. That's the most we're gonna get. They're not gonna do anything else.
Hopefully it doesn't go into fine granular detail wherein we need to like research before starting a game. That's gonna piss us off, right? Because we choose consoles for the convenience, as you said already. Me too, man. If I like a game, I just buy it and play it. Who wants to research a frame rate, dropped frames, how much frames does the game run during cutscenes? Is there some loss of detail in distant vegetation? Until there is a weird, huge amount of pop in or pop up in front of you happening, I don't think we're gonna give a shit regarding Digital Foundry right now. I don't give a fuck about Digital Foundry, but they are banging their bucks. They are making money off of this console wars.
Yeah, but that's because it's they do it for the clicks and shit, man.
It's a fresh marketplace for them.
No, the console wars is for the clickbait, dude. They get their clicks, their ad revenue.
Yeah. Oh, there's a whole bunch of topics. I think we're gonna restrict them to our next podcast episode. Hope we see you back on the next episode, Nova. Any thoughts you'd like to share to our fans and followers here, so that it's like a take-home message from your end?
Just remember, fucking gamers play games. We don't play specs.
Bang on. Hope you guys like this podcast. This is Dr. Shrivira, guys, signing off. This is the man, the myth, legend, again, Supanova, dropping in and making this 3 hours of podcast successful. I wouldn't have done a monologue longer than half an hour, to be honest, Noah. It's been a huge help to have you here so that we can had this back and forth with you.
Hmm.
So it was a delightful experience. Definitely next time I'll have a more amount of guests here so that we can have a healthy discussion. There was one Xbot dude who wanted to jump onto the podcast midway. I said, just wait your ass, man. You can make it to the next episode. You're not gonna share the same fame which we have right now. You can ask your bullshit. You can come back to the next episode. And that fucker, even his mic wasn't working properly. That's the reason I did not allow it to happen. Hopefully, we
Right.
have a healthier debate next time. If you have more people, right?
Well, yeah. The more people you have, the more opinions. It's always more entertaining.
Absolutely. So, have an amazing day, amazing weekend, Noah. Hope every single thing happens in a good way to you when it comes to health, when it comes to entertainment, when it comes to profession, your personal shit, your health, whatever it is. I am Dr. Shrivira. Thank you so much for dropping in here.